need a visa to enter Canada, and one-way flights to Toronto and Montreal only cost about $300.
Yeah, you heard that right. Mexicans are coming in through the northern border now. Yo, poor Trump, man. I feel like he's gonna be done with the wall. He's gonna lay the last brick on the wall with his bare hands, and he's gonna be like, "Finally, my beautiful wall is complete." And then he turns around, there's a bunch of Mexicans like, "Good job, Mr. President." No! Also, this is incredibly insulting to Canadians. Mexicans make it all the way to Canada, and they still decide to keep going to the U.S. Like, Canadians must be like, "Hey, but we have free healthcare, low crime. Why would you go to America?" And they're like, "Yo, if I'm being honest, man, I just want to be in a country where people speak my language, man."
There you go. Isn't that the truth? We're going to the United States because that's where people speak my language. Mexicans invading our country from Canada. Because Mexicans invading our country from Canada. I can't tell you how the world is getting, how weird the world is really getting. Mexicans don't need a visa to enter Mexico. They don't need. So they fly to Canada and then try to cross the border in a country where they have free health care and arguably could be taken care of, because that's what some of them want, arguably could be taken better care of in Canada than they could in the United States, but they insist on coming to the United States, as Trevor Noah there noticed, or noted, I should say. Trevor Noah noted that they want to go to a country where everyone speaks their language, because that is true in many areas of our country. True in many areas of our country, really. And by the way, that would be in Atlanta, Georgia, some sections of Atlanta, Georgia, you know, the redneck South. Oh, no, large areas of Atlanta speak primarily Spanish. Chicago, all our major cities have huge Spanish-speaking neighborhoods. Huge. And, of course, what is the Democrats? Donald Trump's going to be on the air tonight. Donald Trump's going to be on television tonight talking about the illegal immigration problem. Now, what is the Democratic Party's response to Donald Trump being on the air tonight? Here's an idea that's being pushed by some of the Democrats. They want a fact check at the bottom of the screen while President Trump is on the air. That would be fine, but apparently Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, two of the most popular and attractive politicians in the country, the Democrats don't get anything. They just don't get it. As bad as Trump can be, Pelosi and Schumer are almost as unattractive. I mean, they just don't get it. I would be okay with a fact check screen or crawler at the bottom of my television screen when President Trump is on the air tonight, if we have one while they're on. Okay? If we have one while they're on. Because what they're going to say is, "Oh, yes, we have a plan to secure the border. It's comprehensive immigration reform," which is amnesty, by the way. The Democratic Party, especially in California, especially in Nancy Pelosi's California, which has depended on exploitable stoop labor from Mexico for generations since the Bracero program during World War II. Nancy Pelosi, her state, well, actually, her state was actually Maryland, but the state she's representing now, California, has always exploited Mexican labor, and they want to keep on doing it. I mean, the reason we have this problem today is the 1986 immigration bill. Who was president in 1986? That would be Ronald Reagan, the great American. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan heard from his large California farmers, and they wanted their cheap labor from Mexico protected. They wanted a loophole, and they got it from Reagan. Reagan insisted on it personally. They wanted a loophole in the immigration bill that was passed in 1986 that would allow them to continue to exploit these poor people. And by the way, that's what they are. I don't care what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer say, especially about the California field hands. If you go through the Central Valley in California, as I have more than once, and believe me, it's a beautiful area. Farmland, you cannot believe the farmland in Central California. Lettuce fields and onion fields and tomato fields, on and on and on. You'll see little kids out in the field. You'll see little kids, little Mexican kids, or at least Hispanic children out in the field picking with their parents. And that's the truth, Ruth. So I'm looking forward to President Trump's speech tonight, or address to the country. And I'm really looking forward to Schumer and Pelosi, the Katzenjammer kids. I'm really looking forward to Schumer and Pelosi. Again, Trump can be a crashing boor. He can be vulgar and crude. I'm the first one to admit it. I wish that he would conduct himself, at least round off his sharp edges. He just won't do it. Okay, so there we go. However, the Democrats' response is the same old stew. Nancy Pelosi just couldn't let go of power, could she? She just couldn't let go of power. She made a deal with the Democrats. If they put her in as speaker this time around, if they didn't cause a big fuss about her being speaker, she agreed not to run again in 2020 or 2021 or whatever it is, because she'll be like 80 years old at the time. Can you imagine we have the same old faces decade after decade after decade? Hillary Clinton still wants to run for president. Can't we get by these people? Trump, at least it was something different, something new, even if the newness wore off pretty fast. Can't we find somebody? I understand Elizabeth, and I'm sorry I missed this. I'm sorry that I missed this. But Elizabeth Warren was in Storm Lake just this past week. Now, I want to tell you something about Elizabeth Warren. And I'm going to preface this by saying that Elizabeth Warren doesn't have the likability factor. Now, liberals, Democrats, and especially feminists are jumping all over this because others have said that Elizabeth Warren doesn't have the likability factor. I personally like Elizabeth Warren's policies. I would be a Warren supporter, but in the 21st century, you have to have a certain electricity to be president of the United States, to be elected. Obama had it. Bill Clinton had it. Ronald Reagan had it. Elizabeth Warren doesn't. Her place is in the Senate. I think she will be a strong voice in the Senate. But Steve Bannon has said, and Steve Bannon, I know he's a great bogeyman of the American right to liberals everywhere. But I'm going to tell you frankly, Steve Bannon is a genius. He got Donald Trump elected more than anybody else. He got Donald Trump elected. And he has said, first of all, he has said, I hope the Democrats talk about race every single day. I hope they keep talking and keep talking and keep talking about race, because when they keep talking about race, we're going to win. And he's right. And what do you think Schumer and Pelosi are going to talk about tonight? Race. Pelosi has said she doesn't want the wall because it's an immorality, which is kind of an odd way to put it. That's an odd, upper crust, strange old California lady way to put it. It's like Nancy Reagan and her astrology thing. It's an immorality, as if it's an object separate from human beings. No, it's immoral or it's moral, Nancy. Okay? That way human beings possess it somehow or own it somehow. It's not an immorality. But I'm waiting tonight because that's exactly what Schumer and Pelosi, who don't live anywhere near minorities. let me tell you, Nancy Pelosi lives in the most exclusive area of San Francisco in a huge mansion with guards, with guns, and the whole thing. Chuck Schumer lives in New York City. Same thing for him. Same thing for him. So they're going to be talking about race, and more race. But I'm interested in hearing what Donald Trump has to say tonight about the border wall. The border wall now has become a symbol. It was never going to be the answer to illegal immigration. Never. It was going to make illegal immigration a little more difficult. What I would really like to see is that President Trump declare a national emergency and have him send the military to the border of the United States. This is completely out of hand. And by the way, don't start telling me about little children. I have a big a heart towards children as anyone. As a matter of fact, I actually have strong feelings about children, and I really think most liberals use them as a prop. I really think they point, look what that damn Trump is doing to these poor children. Oh, you don't care. Not really. I'm not going to try to rob you of your humanity, but not really. They're a convenient prop for you. They're a convenient prop. I mean, there's a side of American liberalism that's come out in the last 2 years with these Antifa people beating up people in the streets and threatening people at their houses in the middle of the night, physically attacking them. It's grotesque. So, yeah, this is and Cory Booker and Maxine Waters and all these yuckers. That's yuckers, by the way, I said, ladies and gentlemen. All these yuckers. Yeah, we're going to go out there and we're going to harass those conservatives. We're going to get in their face. God, what kind of people think that way? What kind of people are they to think that way? Oh, Trump's a moral imperative. Oh, get off it. Oh, get off it. No, it'll be the same old boring show, same old boring Chuck and Nancy show. I hope they bring Hillary Clinton on just to kind of round out the we're tired of it trio. We are so sick of hearing from these same people decade after decade after decade. It's just greed and power that keeps them demanding office like this. It's just, it's just a fiasco. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine, and you can always join the program by calling 515-955-1400. We're on YouTube live at, just go to YouTube, then type in 1400 KVFD, and there we are. I'm on Twitter at JMike1400, and I'm on Facebook. AM 1400 KVFD. Steve Peterson of the Farm Bureau, Webster County Farm Bureau, will be in just a few minutes. I hope you saw the Clemson-Alabama game last night. That was I'm not a big fan of either team or either coach, especially not Dabo Swinney of Clemson, of the Clemson Tigers. But that game got off to a rip-roaring start right away. Alabama threw a pass interchange, a pick six, almost right away. And Alabama came right back and scored again. Scored another touchdown. Now, I wish I could tell you, if you don't appreciate football or you didn't see the game and you're hearing about it now for the first time, which I kind of doubt, I wish I could tell you it was a back-and-forth contest. It wasn't. Clemson just killed him. Clemson killed him, beat him by 28 points, 44-14. just blasted him. I was, the halftime show has become part of the whole package when you're talking about a football championship, college football championship like we had last night, or the Super Bowl. So the halftime show featured Lil Wayne, a rapper, and I admit that I'm culturally ignorant for the most part of Lil Wayne, other than he has... When I've seen pictures of him, he has tattoos almost everywhere on his body. Every visible part of his body has some tattoo. And the white guys that opened were Imagine Dragons. And they were kind of a rock rap group. I kind of liked them, really. But here comes Lil Wayne in the most bizarre costume I've ever seen. And that's saying something. He looked like, I don't know, something out of the Harry Potter mystery series. I've never seen anything quite like it. He looked like, and I heard this on television this morning, one of the sportscasters, how would you describe Lil Wayne's costume? And one of the younger men said, looks like my daughter got in my wife's closet for about 10 minutes and came out dressed that way. Because Lil Wayne is apparently a true eccentric. You know, I'm of the wrong generation to appreciate hip hop. I am. So I can't, not surprisingly, I'm going to be 67 next month. nearly 67-year-old white guy living in Fort Dodge, Iowa, out in the corn somewhere. I'm not somebody who really appreciates hip hop music. I know the younger crowd certainly do, and by younger crowd, I'm saying 40 and under. And I even understand they have a classic hip hop station in Des Moines now, and that demographic has got to be between 35 and 55. From what I understand, rap music actually started clear back in the 1980s. I do remember this. I was a rock and roll disc jockey at the time, and there was a song that came out in 1986 that rated pretty high, as I recall, by rap pioneers Run DMC. It was called Walk This Way. It was a remix of an old Aerosmith song, Walk This Way. And I used to like Aerosmith back in my rock and roll 70s. I mean, in the 1970s. I'm not in my 70s now. But I used to like that song. And frankly, when I first heard it from Run DMC, I thought, nah. But the more I heard it, the more I liked it. And I still like that song, Walk This Way by Run DMC. It was kind of the first mix, cover, whatever you want to call it, by a rap group that I'd heard. It was kind of cool. It really was. It has evolved since then, since 1986. Wow, that's 33 years. 33 years. Oh, are you kidding me? 33 years. Anyway, it was kind of cool then. I never got into the old Warren G or Snoop Dogg thing in the 90s. And if Lil Wayne's the guy in the year 2019, I guess I don't get it. But, every generation has its own music. But I really did not understand. I did not understand the look that Lil Wayne was going for. Anyway, it would be great. Wouldn't it be great? And nobody ever thinks this. Instead of Clemson and Alabama or some SEC team in the college football finals or somebody from the Pac-10 or even Notre Dame, instead of that, wouldn't it be great to have somebody from the Big Ten other than Ohio State? And yes, I'm looking at you, University of Iowa. Yes, I'm looking at you, University of Iowa. Gary Barta, athletic director. I guess we're going to have Ferences running the football program and taking huge paychecks forever. Because anybody thinks that Brian Ferentz isn't being groomed to be the head coach when Kirk retired. Kirk's what, 65? Coming up on 65 if he's not there. He's going to finish out this contract next year, take his, I don't know how many $1 million and say, thank you very much, suckers. Gary Barta, by the way, there is the University of Iowa has a rule as far as nepotism is concerned. You cannot work in the same department as your parent. Of course, Brian Ferentz is the offensive coach at the University of Iowa. But they got around it, a flagrant violation of the spirit of the regulation. Gary Barta is Brian Ferentz's boss, not his dad, who's on the practice field with him every day. It's just a disgrace, really. Oh, well. I'm going to talk with Steve Peterson, Webster County Farm Bureau, in just a few minutes.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
You don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's exactly 2:30. We're going to have the news, the weather, farm report, and then we'll have Steve Peterson, as I mentioned, from the Webster County Farm Bureau. That's all coming up as Divine Intervention continues at AM 1400 KVFD.
Every morning when I wake, I'm doing soon.
You owe the IRS more than $10,000 in personal or business taxes and you can't afford to pay? You have the right to tax representation. Has the IRS threatened to shut down your business, freeze your bank accounts, take your home, your cars, or garnish your wages? You may qualify for special programs to stop this process. Get tax representation. Call the Tax Help Hotline at 800-556-7089. That's 800-556-7089. Within 24 hours, the threats will stop. Just call 800-556-7089.
Ride the bus. with the Dart and Midas Transit.
Need to get somewhere in Hamilton, Pocahontas, Calhoun, or Humboldt County this winter? Midas will take you there. Live in Manson and need a ride to the grocery store? Midas will take you there. Live in Webster City and need a ride to the theater? Midas will take you there. Live in Rockwell City and need to get to the clinic? Midas will take you there. Call 800 Bus Ride. Midas, helping you get where you want to go. Your connection to Jefferson Lines.
Our job here's getting you there. Ride the bus.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Governor Kim Reynolds has appointed a former Iowa Republican Party chairman as the Iowa Lottery's new chief executive. Radio Iowa's OK Henderson reports.
Matt Strawn of Ankeny worked in Washington, D.C. as a congressional aide before serving as the Iowa GOP's chairman for the 2012 Iowa caucuses. His first day as lottery CEO is next Monday. Reynolds made 8 other appointments to key administrative posts in state government. Debbie Durham has been the Iowa Economic Development Authority's director for the past 8 years. She will now do double duty as director of the Iowa Finance Authority. Reynolds fired the previous Finance Authority director last March after employees complained Dave Jamieson was sexually harassing them. Go to radioiowa.com to see a full list of the leadership changes Reynolds announced today. Radio Iowa, I'm OK Henderson.
The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality in the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam. Prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR Rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Council member Dean Hill expressed his concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in the Little Dam is we have a lot of people to fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design of those structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt, starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 2:34, 26 minutes now before 3 o'clock. Let's check the weather, shall we? I haven't said that in years. I sound like such a radio announcer today. Let's check the weather. It's going to be sunny today, high 40, very windy. In fact, there's a wind advisory on until 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. Overnight, mostly clear with a low of 15. Wind chill factor temperature overnight, 0. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 24. Wind chill factor temperature, again, 0. On Thursday, sunny with a high of 30. Friday, cloudy with a high of 36. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 32. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 35. On Monday, partly sunny with a high of 39 degrees. Right now, 41 degrees at AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Obituaries this hour brought to us by Loftus Vital Savers Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 1615 North 15th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home at 1650 North 15th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 515-576-7128 or online at www.gundersonfuneralhome.com. Bob Sullivan has died. Mr. Robert Sullivan has passed away at the age of 91. Mr. Sullivan's service will be Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning here in town. Ruth Fournier has passed away at the age of 85. Ruth I. Fournier of Fort Dodge died on Sunday at the Paula J. Baber Hospice Home. Services for Ruth Fournier are pending. Ray McLaughlin, 88 years old of Fort Dodge, died on Sunday at the Paula J. Baber Hospice Home. There will be a memorial service at 10:30 in the morning Thursday at Corpus Christi Church for Ray McLaughlin. Obituaries this hour brought to us by Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 1615 North 15th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 515-576-7128 or online at www.gundersonfuneralhome.com. 2:36, 24 minutes now before 3 o'clock, 41 degrees. The closing market report with Dwayne Murley is coming up.
Flat Out Clean Janitorial Services now handles your residential cleaning. You've trusted them for commercial cleaning, and now you can trust them to do the same quality work in your home. Flat Out Clean will come to your home, clean your carpets, and refinish and wax your floors. Don't spend your hard-earned money on new carpet and flooring when all you really need is Flat Out Clean Janitorial Services. For a free estimate, find them on Facebook or call 570-9672. Flat Out Clean Janitorial Services, Fort Dodge.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. March corn down 2 1/4 at $3.80. May down 2 1/4 at $3.88. July closed down 1 3/4 at $3.95 3/4. September down 1 1/4 at $3.98 1/2. January soybeans down 6 cents at $9.06 1/4. March down 5 3/4 at $9.18 1/2. May down 5 1/4 at $9.31 3/4. And July beans down 5 1/4 at $9.43 1/2. March wheat closed up a penny at $5.17 3/4. Soybean meal down 60 cents a ton at $3.1760. February live cattle up 210 at $125.30. April up 107 at $126.15. January feeders up 162 at $147.62. March up 155 at $145.45. February lean hogs up 70 cents at $62.60. April down 35 at $66.02. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Flu season is here. Have you had your shot? Make sure you and your family are protected from the flu by stopping into Daniel Pharmacy for your flu shot. The pharmacists at Daniel Pharmacy are ready to give you your shot today. While you're at Daniel's, they'll check your immunization record to see if you also need a pneumonia, shingles, or whooping cough vaccine. And if you've got a cold, let their helpful staff show you which over-the-counter cold medication works best. Daniel Pharmacy, caring for you and about you for over 50 years.
First State Bank, first for you.
First State Bank and its ag lenders are first for you. They have the desire to work with you and the authority to make their decisions locally. When it comes to agriculture, they strive to be your #1 financial institution leader. Stop in or give Fort Dodge Ag Loan Officers Craig Barber or Emily Lawler a call to see how they can help you grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
First State Bank, first for you.
We are the Iowa Farm Bureau, and we're making healthcare affordable for you. We provide our members with access to quality healthcare coverage, savings on prescription drugs, preventive care, and more. For more information, contact your local county farm bureau.
It's Michael Devine at AM 1400
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
with 60 rounds of freedom.
Can I ask you something, but without you taking it the wrong way?
Sure.
Are you stupid?
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD. Time's up.
That's right, time's up. Or it's time for, whatever you prefer. It's time for Steve Peterson with the Webster County Farm Bureau. If I can stop spitting Doritos all over the microphone, we'll get this done here. Yeah, this portion of the program brought to you by the Webster County Farm Bureau. And Steve Peterson is a past president, now voting delegate. How are you, Steve?
Good. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing real good, man. I got a little rest over the holidays, took some time off. I should do it more often.
Well, you need that every now and then.
You got to have it, don't you?
Yes,
you got to
do.
have it. Did you get
Yes.
any rest over the holidays or not?
A little bit. We were just talking off air. This is a pretty busy time for me, being the after Christmas, and then you get to the New Year's, and farming wise, boy, this year it seemed like the retailers held on to releasing their prices. No one wants to release the price, and no one, as far as your your retailers buying product because they don't want to get undercut. So they can kind of hold on.
What sort of retailers are you talking
well,
about?
your co-ops or even your private chemical retailers and whatnot. So it's kind of a bad kept secret, I guess, what their prices are going to be. And so then at the end of the year, in farming, we, will prepay purchases for our inputs for the next year, or some people do. And it's it's for tax reasons and whatnot. So that gets to be kind of a pretty tedious time, really. So that seems to be involve a lot of time, and then like I said, personally, I do some grants for our fire departments and whatnot. So that also takes some time getting those in between for the deadlines and whatnot. So I survived all that, and now we got a 2019 ahead of us. So the whole year.
What the good news is, we're both still here.
Yes.
We're healthy and ready to go, and that's the important thing.
It is.
That's
so
the important thing.
But yeah, no, I guess I'm kind of excited to get going on 2019, and I guess on my own personal farm, I got a plan. We'll see how close I can stick to that through the year, and as far as Farm Bureau, we're gonna get busy here. The legislative session is going to start here in the next was that next week or the week after?
Well, the State of the State address is the 15th, and that is Tuesday.
Okay,
a week from today.
Yep. So it'll be good to get that going, and we kind of been hearing some previews of what some of the party leaders and what kind of directions they're going to go in. It seems that the national events are been kind of overshadowing our state events here lately. So
well, that's always going to happen, especially, but the national events barely come to our front door as this trade situation has been. I mean, we went from I don't know how much soybean trade down to zero in about 4
pretty
months.
much, and there's been a little bit picking up. I think I haven't been here for a couple weeks, but my last one, I think we were towards the end of the year. It kind of once the ball started rolling, it went real quick. We got a farm bill signed, and there was a lot of discussion that we weren't going to get that. No one in Washington could get along, and the same kind of song and dance we hear a lot of times. But right at the last minute, they all came together, and we got a farm bill signed. So we do have some at least certainty in the future for the next 5 years. On that farm bill. So,
can you point to something in the farm bill that you like or the Farm Bureau likes?
Really here in the Midwest, it seems like in the farm bill, there's always winners and losers, and we get pretty narrow-minded, I guess, farm bill for farming here in the Midwest. We're primarily corn and beans.
Yeah, but you have to be advocates because
exactly. I mean, it's a
California is going to do it,
sure,
and the South is going to do it, and that's all fair.
Yes. So there usually tends to be some winners and losers. Actually, the last farm bill was pretty good, and as a whole for Midwest farmers, they did some little tweaks to some disaster programs. In these disasters and their acronyms, it's the ARC and the PLC and how we designate our years, and it gets kind of complicated, but they kind of opened a little bit of that up, trying to make it a little more fair and universal. So there's really, just small changes, but not a lot drastic for the Midwest. So, we had a good thing, and that's kind of what we were wanting to go forward. There's some changes, I think, on the big national one that's caught a lot of deal is they legalized industrial hemp. And, even at the state level, there's you're hearing a little bit of discussion. Is that going to become a viable crop here in Iowa? I personally don't know. I don't know a lot about industrial hemp, but the way I understand it, that was big for Mitch McConnell. And him being the ringleader in the Senate, he evidently had some clout to get that pushed in, and that was a big thing for his state. So, but nationally, what will that do? We're always interested in another cash crop, I guess.
Yeah.
I believe, dating way back before my time, in the war era, industrial hemp, or for ropes and
my my grandfather had a contract like many farmers did during the war years.
Sure.
He was up in the Laverne, Livermore area, and he grew hemp.
Yep.
Even before the war, my dad told me the first cigarette he ever smoked was a hemp cigarette. And I used to kid him, Dad, you were getting high. That was weed. He said, I don't know about getting high, but my throat sure burned.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of an interesting deal that I guess we haven't had a lot of discussion about it. I think it kind of came in from left field. It really wasn't on anyone's radar, but that was important to Mitch McConnell, and he got that in. So that's possibly, something to talk about. And I think that conversation sometimes gets muddied with legalized marijuana. They're not the same, but they get drug in the same
family.
They get drug in the same bucket.
I don't think. Of course, the huge difference is hemp doesn't have that THC.
Correct.
And that's the thing that gets people high when they smoke marijuana.
Yes. So
anyway,
but that's a discussion that it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, and to see where the market is going to dictate it gets grown. If we don't really have a market here and there's a market in another part of the country, I guess, maybe it'll be emphasized there more. But, that's something else. And then, of course, we got the government shutdown, which is front and center in all the press now. And that's probably affecting farmers. I mean, the in your pocketbook thing that's affecting farmers right now is if you didn't apply for the market facilitation payment. And that was the payments that were made or declared to offset some of the tariff damage done by the trade disputes. And of course, they announced initially that they were going to pay 50% on the production. I mean, there was some went to soybeans, pork and corn and cotton and peanuts. But they initially announced they were going to pay 50%. And the producers that signed up, like I signed up fairly early when that was announced, it was a couple weeks, and then I got a payment zapped into my account. And then when they finally announced, it was in mid-December, I believe, that originally it was going to be early December, and then they kind of started dragging their feet. Well, they also, I think, were trying to feel what China was going to do, if there was going to be a second payment or whatnot. And then eventually they just declared the second half of that payment for the full amount to be paid. And if you had already signed up, I got that payment, right before the end of the year, because there was some question about whether that payment was going to be on this year's taxes, next year's taxes. It gets complicated. In farming, we use cash accounting, and we're actually one of only 2 entities in the United States that are allowed to do that.
And that means cash accounting means what?
Well, it's not unlike a curial accounting, which most businesses do. We have a calendar, or we start at the first of the year, and we can hold grain over, we can defer payments, and kind of shift both income and expenses in and out of it a year, dedicated to how it works best for us. And fishermen and farmers are really the only entities that are allowed to do that with the IRS.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a weird combination.
It is, but so that kind of played in it. But now with the government shutdown, of course, the FSA offices are not open. So you cannot go in and submit your paperwork to get these payments. So they're kind of held up in limbo there, because some people, I don't know, because you could go in and sign up, but you just didn't have to declare your bushels. And you had till May 1 to actually declare your bushels, but you had to be signed up by January 15th. So the speculation is they're going to extend that sign up period, of course, for, I would assume, to allocate for the days that they weren't available there to sign up. But people were doing that. One, some people were still harvesting, so they didn't know their bushels. And two, they, for practical reasons, wanted to defer that payment into the next calendar year. So that's kind of a hiccup right now. And with doing cash flows and whatnot, some of the funds from that are greatly needed to make things work out. So that's one issue I know that we have in agriculture right now with the shutdown. The other is also right before the end of the year. I think we talked a little bit about the clean water.
Yep.
That they brought new language for that. And part of that new language is they have to have basically a 90-day period for people to read the rule and submit opinions and, run it through the laundry, so to speak. And of course, that is dead on arrival now too, because we're just in limbo to do that. So, and then the other kind of thing that's been going on is, of course, without the government opened or a certain reduced staffing, we're not getting our crop reports that we get released every week. So we're allowing the marketplace to kind of fly by the seat of their pants, I guess. So the reporting, which on the private side of things is saying that we are shipping some beans to China, we don't have the federal government to officially announce it. So there's a little bit of speculation on the private side versus the USDA side. And that has, I thought I read last night where there's some more shipments to China, and then the market goes down today. So it's whose word you're really taking, we don't really know. So those are kind of some issues right now that the current shutdown is affecting us. And hopefully we can get this resolved and kind of get back to normal business as usual, I guess, as far as
we hope so,
the departments and the people, and then there's people that jobs are not being they're not getting their paychecks, and that unfortunately, but the way I understand it, if they're furloughed, they will eventually get the money. It's just delaying them now. So at least they won't be out the money, and hopefully this thing can get resolved and there can be some political compromise put forward, because I think that's what most people would expect.
Most people would expect that, yeah. And by the way, this is, I have no proof of this, but in his time as president, Donald Trump's been known to surprise us. It wouldn't surprise me if he made some mention of a trade deal tonight during his speech on the wall. The rumors I'm hearing is he's gonna, is it DAFA? There's a meeting coming up, and there's some speculation that him and the President Xi of China are going to have a joint statement. I believe that's the end of the month. DAFA? There's basically where all the countries get together and talk about trade and whatnot. So there's some speculation that there could be something reached. China has held the upper hand. They're a one-party state, a police state, frankly.
What's completely different than negotiating with us, because we're under a capitalistic society,
and more importantly, we're a democratic republic, or a republic,
yes,
where politicians are always jockeying for a higher position. Now they don't have that in China. If there is some politician comes out and starts blasting Xi, they'll be in jail for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean the thing that in my view that Trump brings, he's the wild card because he's not a politician. And at the end of the day, he's not, I mean, I'm sure he would like to serve another 4 years, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's the end of the world if he doesn't. So, he's not one of these creatures of habit that we seem to collect out in Washington to keep their job.
He's different, I'll tell you. He's a different guy.
That's what does make him a little unpredictable. And that can benefit you to the good or bad, depending on I guess the position that you're coming from. So but yeah, I guess for practical purposes, we'd like to see the government get back open. We'd like to let's get the waters of the U.S. language moving forward, and let's get some certainty and put that issue to bed. And then let's get the market assistant payments processed and out in a timely manner, and then of course our trade, but the way I understand that is going forward. It's just that we have some speculative reporting on what is actually happening.
Right.
And there's people, even when the government was open, you always criticize the reports anyway, and I've been out to Washington under report release, and they lock you in a building. and you
say stay in there, huh?
You go through security to get in the building, and then you go to security to get in a secure wing, and there's grids in the ceiling and all kinds of communication detection devices, so that, and you actually sit there, and the back in when I was there, it was Tom Vilsack was the USDA, the head of the USDA, and he actually sits in a small fold-out chair, and these people start reading their report and how they get to it, and we get that information. It's like an hour or hour and a half before the market's open, and then when that second hand opens, it's like the internet turns on, and that room becomes available to the world. All the reporters are in that room, and they're locked down too, and they can write their stories, and that's how that stuff gets released so quick, because they've got about an hour lead time with the information before it's available to the public. And a lot of times there's a lot of conspiracy theories and about reports and I guess after seeing it firsthand, I probably thought too there was some backdoor dealings going on. It's just that the information they use sometimes tends to be outdated with the information at the market with the internet and all these services.
Mhm.
We're so far out ahead of the market. The government is very consistent in their information gathering. They tend maybe to be a little behind the market, but they are consistent, and that's just what it is. So, but yeah, we need to get those reports going back out to get a little more solid footing, I guess, in the information flow in the market. Because right now we're just being led by speculative people. And,
Yeah.
and that can get a little dangerous too. So it's a challenge. So, after tonight, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be some headlines tomorrow morning on the path we're taking and whatnot. So,
Well, and that's, unfortunately, most of the headlines are going to be about the political battle between Trump
Sure.
and the Democrats, or the Republicans and Democrats. It's always that way. You talked about conspiracy theories. Most of those conspiracy theories come from the media, who are speculating and speculating and speculating.
Yeah.
You can tune in liberals over here, and they're speculating about dark Trump maneuvers, and we can turn on the right wing guys, and those liberals, they're commies. Or
yeah, and in farming, it's kind of like there's a lot of people that'll take your money to give you their opinion of what to do or what not to do, and I think you can get a little tunnel vision by listening to a certain, a marketer tends to be more bullish, and when we say bullish, they're juiced up on a market, and they think great things are coming. Or you can find a person that tends to be a little bearish on the market, and a little more way conservative, I guess, or they're always down on the news. And that's so it's kind of the same thing. And the trouble, there's pros and cons to it, but we get information so fast now. In my tractor, I have internet service. I have radar now. I have news feeds. I have so much stuff, and
that's all good. So you don't have to sit around at noon waiting for the grain report on the radio.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. It has its pros and it also has its cons. You can get juiced up on a story that is a 15-minute story, and in times past you might not have known that, or it's there's definitely pros and cons to some of the
The
technology.
media kind of drives our world a lot of times.
It does.
And Trump, the reason the media is so mad at Trump is he took that away from him. I mean, they're scared to death of Trump and his Twitter account.
The tweets and I don't tweet or twit or whatever. I don't have it. I guess I need to. But.
We'll be back after the news. Steve Peterson's our guest from the Webster County Farm Bureau. It's 3:00, KVFD, Fort Dodge, Iowa.
If you're a gearhead or not, you'll enjoy the Under the Hood Car Show every Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400, KVFD.
Both sides dig in again. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The finger pointing continues in Washington on day 18 of a partial government shutdown over funding for a border wall as the president prepares to address the nation tonight. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
Ahead of President Trump's national address, Republicans on Capitol Hill are echoing the White House language and describing a crisis at the border.
I would urge our Democratic colleagues to get past these harmful political games and get serious about negotiating with the president.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell again says the Senate will only vote on proposals that can win 60 votes and get the president's support. Democrats point to the 800,000 federal workers expected to miss a paycheck, urging Republicans to reopen the government before a debate over border security. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. A second suspect is now charged in the drive-by killing of a little girl in Texas. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, earlier today at Jasmine Barnes' funeral, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez told mourners,
I look forward to the day that I can truly say, rest in peace, sweet Jasmine, for justice has been done.
That day may be today, as Harris County officials announced on Twitter that Larry D. Woodruff has now been charged with a count of capital murder in Jasmine's death. Police said in a release Woodruff was arrested on other charges last Saturday, but further investigation linked him to the little girl's death. Eric Black Jr., also in custody for driving the car from which the deadly shots were fired. He is also charged with capital murder, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. 3 in a row on Wall Street. The Dow up 256 points at the closing bell, just over 23,780 points. The S&P and the NASDAQ also higher. This is Fox News.
Hey guys, how's your game going? If you know what I mean. A lot of you know me, but you may not know my name. I'm Sildenafil, the active ingredient in that little blue pill, that helps guys with ED. I'm really super excited to tell you I've moved into a generic pill that you can get at forhims.com. Gosh, guys, everybody wants to perform their best, but not everyone could afford me. In that little blue pill. But now I can be yours at forhims.com. Hims connects you with licensed doctors who can prescribe me online, and then I get delivered right to your door. So easy. And get this, your first month is just $5 when you go to forhims.com/guys. $5 for a whole month of me? That should make every guy stand up and cheer. To get your first order for just $5, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/guys. That's forhims.com/guys. Get started today for just $5 at forhims.com/guys.
See website for full details. Not all services through the HIMS platform are available in all 50 states.
Supreme Court says a mystery foreign corporation must comply with a pending federal subpoena, possibly linked to the Russia probe. The justices issuing an unsigned order refusing to dismiss a contempt citation issued by a federal judge for failure to comply. The unnamed company, listed in court records as being owned by Country A, had argued that complying with the subpoena would violate the laws of its home country. A popular water park is now officially considered autism-friendly.
SeaWorld's Aquatica Orlando receiving a designation as a certified autism center from the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards. Company officials say Aquatica Orlando is the world's first water park to get credentials for visitors with autism. The certification process requires staff continually trained to assist guests with autism and their families. Autistic guests and their families also receive specific information about which attractions might be best for them. The park also planning to have a quiet room for visitors to take a break. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
Today's rally on Wall Street still fueled in part by U.S. trade negotiations with China. An additional day of talks scheduled.
The Dow components that are doing so well today, it's the ones that trade with China. It's Boeing, Caterpillar, United Technology. Even Dow DuPont is higher today. And why? Because China's Ministry of Agriculture has approved imports of genetically modified crops. And of course, that's what Dow sells. A final deal, though, on trade still a long ways off. That's what we're hearing.
Fox Business Network's Jerry Willis at the New York Stock Exchange. Again, the Dow up 256 points after the closing bell. That's up more than 1%. The NASDAQ up 73. The S&P up 24. Just getting word that the woman believed to be the oldest person in the U.S. has died. Leslie Brown was 114. A grandson just making the announcement. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Governor Kim Reynolds has appointed a former Iowa Republican Party chairman as the Iowa Lottery's new chief executive. Radio Iowa's O.K. Henderson reports.
Matt Strawn of Ankeny worked in Washington, D.C. as a congressional aide before serving as the Iowa GOP's chairman for the 2012 Iowa caucuses. His first day as lottery CEO is next Monday. Reynolds made 8 other appointments to key administrative posts in state government. Debbie Durham has been the Iowa Economic Development Authority's director for the past 8 years. She will now do double duty as director of the Iowa Finance Authority. Reynolds fired the previous Finance Authority director last March after employees complained Dave Jamieson was sexually harassing them. Go to radioiowa.com to see a full list of the leadership changes Reynolds announced today. Radio Iowa, I'm OK Henderson.
The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam, the Hydro Dam at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality of the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam, prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR Rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Council member Dean Hill expresses concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in the Little Dam is we have a lot of people to fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design for structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt, starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. A wind advisory continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 42. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet tonight. Lows sit down to about 15. Clear skies and quiet again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 24. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 41.
Mom, Dad, I'm getting married. That's wonderful, dear.
Congratulations. So have you decided on a date?
Yes, Saturday. What? Are you serious? We need to plan. There's so much to do.
What about the church? The flowers, music, food, inviting everyone?
You would not want to be faced with those hurried decisions then. Why do that to your family with your own final arrangements? I invite you to sit down with us at Gunderson's to pre-plan your funeral. Pre-planning allows you to make thoughtful decisions with a clear mind. Give us a call at Gunderson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Fort Dodge.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
Divine at AM 1400.
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
With 60 rounds of freedom.
Can I ask you something, but without you taking it the wrong way?
Sure.
Are you stupid?
Michael Devine, broadcasting live.
Yeah. Remember that if you're If you're being called stupid by somebody, you don't want to take that the wrong way. AM 1400 KVFT, the voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. And we are going to tell the truth, make it matter. We're never going to be boring. Joining me again for this segment is Steve Peterson of the Webster County Farm Bureau. He's a past president, current voting delegate. And we talked a lot of things in the last segment. We want to talk about, since the state legislative session is getting ready to kick off, we do need to, and what they do at the State House is sometimes as important as they do at the federal level.
Sure it is.
So what are we looking for from the state legislature this year?
Farm Bureau, we've of course, we've had our policy meetings and we've kind of created our agenda, and we've actually sat down here right before Christmas with our local representatives, and got a chance to talk to them and us talk to them and kind of lay out our priorities going forward for this year. And the laundry list this year, they're important. I don't know if they're as controversial as maybe some stuff we've had in past years. Big thing for us is I believe it was back in the end of the Vilsack administration, Iowa started a beginning farmer tax credit program. And of course, tax credits have gotten a lot of scrutiny over the last few years with and some people, saying they're just doling them out like candy to some of these corporations that don't need the tax credits.
Look, there's always going to be abuse. You can come up with the greatest program in the world, and somebody's going to sit down and look at it and say, how can I get around this or take advantage of it?
As far as what we feel, the beginning farmer tax credit is a very, very important one. And in the last session, at the last minute, the last hour, or the last day, they gutted that program in half.
Oh no! Why?
Never really gotten a good answer why.
No.
So they took a $12 million program and basically slashed it in half. Well, the problem being is in the beginning farmer tax credit, and I emphasize it's a beginning farmer tax credit. It's not necessarily a young farmer or whatever. There's criteria with net worth and that qualifies you as a beginning farmer.
Right.
I personally used it when I started farming with my parents, and there's loan programs and tax credit programs, and a lot of younger people are using these to get either low interest loans or some rental agreements from an existing farmer to a younger farmer, and it can allow them to have a multi-year lease and to kind of have a little bonus to entice them to rent to a newer upcoming farmer. And the program, of course, has, since it's a multi-year thing, it's got obligations kind of baked in the cake. So when they basically gutted that program or took 50% of the money, they couldn't, as a board, they could not go forward because they didn't have any money to give. So they have a laundry list of people that have applied but don't have the funding to do it.
Okay.
So that's as probably as local and near and dear in every county throughout the state as any of these tax credits get. And and it allows it to expire. It's not something that goes on forever. It's a tool used to help people start farming. And again, you get a little mixed up. It's not a young farmer deal, so it could technically be a person in their 60s, 70s, even if they're like in my case, I was in my 30s when I came back to farm. So I was by Farm Bureau standards, I wasn't a young farmer, but by the criteria
in your 30s, you weren't really.
I think Farm Bureau, they have a young farmer program, and I think that taps you out at 36. And
all right,
and the FSA has a different definition for a beginning farmer. I think they call you a beginning farmer the first 10 years, and so there's different classifications. But anyway, that's a program that we would like to make whole again, and I think there's really not a lot of controversy on it, especially because it does look like we're gonna have some new money in the pot this year. And the last few years, I know Senator Kreinberg hates talking about de-appropriations, but I just
yes, he does. Yeah, he's all right with it.
I don't think, we're going to be having that conversation. The argument's going to be is how to split the pie, because there's a lot of, departments that have not gotten, well, nobody gets what they want, but there's been some departments that have really, seen no growth in the last few years. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. And then of course, Farm Bureau, we're notoriously always looking at property taxes and trying to ensure that
I've heard that
a lot of expenditures don't just fall on the backs of property tax owners, because that seems to be kind of easy prey. There's not a lot of organizations out there. A lot of organizations want the money, but there's not a lot protecting property owners.
That's why we have farm bureaus to advocate for farmers,
Right.
essentially.
Right. And like locally here in Webster County, this is kind of always something that's come. And Webster County is a fairly urban county in a rural part of the state.
It is,
compared to Calhoun and whatnot. But we have 24% of the population that lives out in the country, and
in Webster County, you mean.
Webster County, and 76 lives in the cities.
Right.
However, the rural part provides 62% of the tax money, and the cities combine 38.
And your problem is what?
Well, it's
I live in town.
Exactly. But it's a lot of these things we just don't want to get pushed on the minority population as far as tax purposes. So we pay a close eye to that, and always have and always will. And then and this kind of goes into the state spending. Different parts of the state, we've had a huge concern over our DNR and purchasing more ground. And at last year's session, there was some rules put in place where the DNR has to do a little more transparent reporting of some of their expenditures, because also, we all hear about the DNR shortfalls when they don't have enough money to maintain the parks they have and the staffing and to keep them open. We have trouble sometimes of what they've spent acquiring new ground. It's kind of like, take care of what you got before you go on these big spending sprees of acquiring ground. Because we've seen reports in the last 5 years, the DNR has probably spent around $42 to $45 million on acquiring new property. And, of course, when that property comes on, it comes off the tax roll too. So again, that puts the burden on the people paying the tax. So that's something we want to, make people aware of and try to, at least the fundamental, take care of what you got before you look to expand. And hopefully the legislators this year will have maybe some more transparency on what is going on, because that's been kind of a problem. And then the next couple items are they're always talked about. Of course, Farm Bureau would love to see capital gains taxes eliminated. However, that probably would be a heavy lift, and I know we definitely don't want to see them basically get any more restrictive. I guess if we could at least maintain the status quo, but we always will probably push for elimination of it. And then kind of going back to the property tax thing, and this is another thing that we're looking quite a ways out on this thing, is the SAVE program, and that's your secured and advanced vision for education. And right now that is I'm going off the top of my head here, I believe that's set to sunset in 2023. And we just want to make sure that gets expanded out. And that has to do with schools' ability to bond and whatnot, because we're afraid if we don't have that as an option for funding, those funds could again fall back on property tax owners. So, those are kind of some of our priorities that we've talked about. And, some of them, like I said, are not immediate concerns, but we're laying the groundwork to have that conversation, because sometimes those fights are easier it's to talk about when it's not, we got to until next Wednesday to decide something. So we're talking to our members, and these are things important to us and going forward. So and then we're going to see what pops up. There's always going to be these wild cards that we don't know about. And but I think initially it sounds like, especially when they start putting their budgets together and the money, they're going to be pretty busy doling up who gets the new money. I do believe, though, there's some future budget projections that show it going back, because this year is kind of a windfall, the way I understand it, because of the federal tax changes. And so there's going to be kind of a bump up in money this year and then come down next year when the state catches up. So it's going to be a tough deal, because I know they don't want to fund a program only to gut it the next year. So, I'm sure that's going to be a challenge for them. But there's definitely, I think, some programs that deservingly need some increases. But again, I think, a compromise will be nobody's going to get 100% of what they want.
Never.
And so, it's and we'll be going down to the Capitol several different times on our scheduled deals. If need be, they will call us up and we'd go down if it was a special vote or something that out of the ordinary arises. But and then a lot of their conversation is going to be on mental health.
I need. I'm glad you brought. We're talking state legislature here, because the Farm Bureau always has a day or maybe a week.
Yeah.
When is that falling this year?
Well, I believe February 20th is one of our days, and I think March 20th sounds, off the top of my head, is another day. And those are scheduled days we go down. But like I said, if we needed people to go down for another reason, if it would come up, we definitely would do that.
Well, keep me surprised. I got to talk with Craig Hill. First time I met him 2-3 years ago. I was down there with Greg Hoare, the pork producers, but and I've talked with Craig a few times since, and he's a very down to earth, very logical guy, and he's very bright. Boy, that guy has a lot of information. I'll tell you. And he's president of the Farm Bureau again this year.
Yep.
Well, he's a good president. Where's he from again?
Warren County.
Warren County, down around Indianola, in that area. Okay.
Yeah, his I've got to know his son quite well. Was the county president down there, so that family's very involved in Farm Bureau, and Craig is very well spoken and of course informed, and and Farm Bureau does that. They give us the facts and the briefings, and so we'll prep before we go down and talk to our legislators. Like I said, we've already had a chance to sit down with them, and I don't really see any huge difficulties. I mean, I think they're all pretty common sense to an agricultural standpoint. But we'll see what happens when we get down there, if there are going to be any wild cards come out of it. Being that Governor Reynolds holds both chambers, I think it will be kind of safe to say I don't think there'll be any huge surprises. It's going to have to be brought out by something else. But it's I'm kind of excited to get going with that process, and hopefully they'll be able to do a timely and an efficient legislative session this year. And but like I said, there's going to be and some other things. Mental health will come up, and I know that's a big topic. And Fred Hubbell, got a lot of votes in Iowa, and that was a big basis of his campaign. So I think they definitely, they need to address it and talk about it. And I've heard a lot of different people's opinions on it. The funding, I don't know if is as big a problem as it is the services and how things,
right.
I really haven't heard a whole lot on funding. I know the Farm Bureau, and it took a long time for me to kind of understand it. There is a component of mental health that is paid through our property taxes. But and finally I had to ask one of our tax experts in Des Moines. It was like, well, because generally the Farm Bureau's vision of property taxes is it's for, roads, bridges, emergency services, kind of brick and mortar type investments. And I had to ask, I said, well, how is this? And there's a cap on it of this, the mental health levy. And I guess it comes down to years and years ago, when the counties had their county homes, and that was how they were funded. And so that component has existed, and we've never really argued to take that portion away. We just want to maintain that cap. And I think that cap has been basically secured, at least in the near future here, that it can't just be an easy place to peck off money on the backs of the property owners. But that is why there is a small component there. The property tax money does go to mental health, and that's kind of for an old outdated system, but that's now been rolled into your county monies, I guess, in the collective pot per county.
So you don't think there's going to be any surprises tonight in the Trump speech?
Oh, the Trump speech, that's
yeah, I'm going to get back to that just as we wrap this up here.
I don't know. I heard some chaos that they wanted to have a fact checker in,
Oh yeah, they want to have a crawler on the bottom of the screen with that.
I guess.
How can you do that, really?
Personally, and I know I don't like going down this road with you, but
no,
he would almost. I've seen a video surfacing around Facebook, and it's just the highlights of some of these particular players and the comments they've made over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
I think all you really need to do is go on and play that highlight reel of all the times they've voted for basically the same thing. I think some of this is actually more about certain people not wanting a certain person to achieve anything.
Oh, that's for sure.
I don't know that it's and it's sad to say, they're asking for $5 billion. I think that it's sad to say when you say that's a drop in the bucket.
It is a drop in the bucket
to the big scheme of things. And you talk about $100,000 toilet seats and everything else. So, but
$100,000.
But all these people have at one point in time, I think, voted for more than what they've all voted at one point for this exact.
Oh, Schumer has been recorded several times calling for border security and extreme border security and a wall and all of these things. I mean,
and I don't even know if a lot of people are as, I think they'd be happy with it and life would go on and there's still going to be immigration issues and it's an evolving thing. And we're still a country of immigrants, and I think we expect a level of safety and people to follow the rules.
People want to know that they're safe and their family is safe.
Yes.
They also want to have a reasonable expectation that there is prosperity attached to the word American.
Mm-hmm.
If we can do that, if we can make people feel safe.
All of these small towns have a Swedish background, a Norwegian background, a Danish background. I mean, they were.
I don't know who let them in, but
they back 100 years ago they were the same way, and they assimilated into the country we know today. And I just don't see it being as big of a political issue because it's probably more of a stretch for some of the Republicans to grasp this idea that they kind of pushed off on years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on the opposite side and that they are now. So it's kind of, I think, a little foolish, and let's put it behind us, get the government open, and the sun will come up tomorrow, and let's get on with it.
Oh my God, you're quoting Annie, the musical?
Yep.
So Peterson, the way you spell it, P-E-T-S-O-N.
Yep.
Now, is that Norwegian or is that Dane or what?
Swedish.
That's Swedish.
That's Swedish.
So the PED guys.
Well, the SENs are Norwegian.
The SENs. So you're a Swede with the SON.
And
then the SEN
tends to be Norwegian.
Norwegian. All right.
Yeah.
And the PED guys, the Pedersons, so the way it looks, but they pronounce it Peterson.
I don't know. I really don't know. I know I've got the documents where my great grandfathers come across and how they did and where they originated from.
Really?
And I still communicate with family members of ours from Sweden. So
Really? Have you ever been to Sweden?
I never have.
Oh.
They have been over here a couple times. Someday I'd like to make it over there, but I still communicate. We've kept in touch with family members and it's interesting. And what we were talking about Facebook, that's what's great for me. I can get on Facebook at 6 a.m. and they're eating dinner over there. So
sure,
we can communicate very easily now on Facebook and whatnot.
Well, it's terrific to have these technological advances. I'll tell you, my grandkids live 2.5 hours away, but I can call them on FaceTime on my phone and see them.
Yeah.
I can't hold their attention very long.
Yeah, so, but it's no. I'd like to see. I think a lot of this is just political posturing, and
of course it is.
Let's just.
Of course it is. Let's come to some agreement over the wall. Get it done. Move on. Because what we're seeing right now, this is what the Democrats wanted. Wanted authority. They have some authority, and they're playing the "let's get Trump out of office" game, or Trump's a bad guy game.
Yeah.
And the country is not being served. And I'm not saying Trump's doing much of a better job.
No.
So far, he's had pretty much a Republican administration. I understand that's fine. But I am not a fan of our two-party system as it exists today.
It doesn't function because it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of compromise, and that's what should have happened here. They should have just sat down. Because like I said, I think everyone on the Democrat side has voted for at least what they got on the table now, if not more. And it's just a couple names have changed and seats have changed here and there, and now it's a bad idea.
They hear from constituents, and their constituents don't care. They just want to stick Trump. They're that crazy about sticking Trump.
So, but I like to, we need a healthy immigration system. I think you've had other people on here. Our region of the state. We're going to need some new blood. We're going to need some workers around here. And
don't get in an argument with me about this now, Steve.
I know.
You know how I feel about this.
But it's and hopefully Prestige gets up and rolling, and we are gonna see some changes around here. Hopefully, so
you'll see changes. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We need a legal process, and everybody needs to follow it.
We need a practical working process to make this happen.
What would practical look like to you?
I would say consistent for the employers. I think, and
by consistent, do you mean a steady stream of available workers?
No, I think information has to be readily available. It has to be, because what I've understood, and I've got an uncle that uses E-Verify. There's ways around that too. I
think E-Verify is still the best that we have.
It's the best we currently have,
yeah,
but I think we could improve upon that. And because, like I said, I think at the end of the day, at least the people that I know in Webster County expect a degree of safety and to people to be who they say they are.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be great.
And we want them to be part of society.
That's right.
And whether, and how we go about that. But we need to also make it not so burdensome that the companies aren't able to follow those rules either. So there's it's just, I've never been through that step. I don't know. I know about 3 entities that currently use immigrant workers, and I know go through quite a few hoops to get them, and it seems to be working fine for them.
Why is it so important for them to get immigrant workers? Is it the cost of labor? Because it always comes down to cost.
Actually, they're fairly expensive.
What do you mean they're fairly expensive?
Well, I know like our local co-op, they used immigrant laborers at some of their sites, and by the time the services and all the hoops and hurdles they got to go through, I know elected not to do it at a lot of their sites this year, and locally I know they used some of the inmates from Rockwell City. So there's another potential labor pool for certain industries, to work, and. So, and I know they have to provide housing and transportation, and I believe these workers are coming on work visas, and they stay for a certain amount of time, and then they're gone, and then some new ones are brought in. So, but I know, so three entities personally that are currently using it, and
I could name more than that just in Storm Lake.
Well, I mean that's just actual agricultural people in our area. So. They're following the rules, and I think doing it the best of their ability.
Sure.
So, but yeah, as we get an influx of immigrants in the small towns, and I'm assuming in Fort Dodge and the area, I think we all expect a certain level of safety and knowledge.
Let's stop acting as if the law is of no consequence because I
Sure.
feel sorry for people,
Right.
or I can get away with it. That's that has caused a lot of problems in our society, a lot of deep resentments, and those will continue until those two things are resolved. Until we stop acting like the law doesn't make any difference because I feel this way,
Yeah.
or I need this, or I want that.
I the immigrants of the old school, it seemed like it was a big honor to become a United States citizen,
That's
and,
right.
and they really thrived to do that. And it was a long process, and had to learn the language and had to assimilate into society. And there was an expectation on them, and there was an honor for them to achieve that.
Well, see, this isn't the melting pot anymore. This is multiculturalism, where ethnic groups that come to our country are encouraged not to learn our customs and language because their culture is as good as any culture around. And as a result, yes, we do have, especially in California and in other major cities, we have communities from around the world, from the Middle East, from Asia, all over the place, where there's whole neighborhoods where people don't speak the language.
Sure.
They don't speak the language and they don't care to.
Yeah.
They're really, they don't understand our laws at all, nor do they care to do that.
But I hope at the end of the night tonight, we at least make some headways, and and we can open it up tomorrow and get business going.
Boy, that would be great. We need to get back to business, that's for sure. And I appreciate you being here, Steve. Steve Peterson's been our guest. This portion of the program brought to us by the Webster County Farm Bureau. Steve, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
Can I ask you something, but without you taking it the wrong way?
Sure.
Are you stupid?
Michael Devine, the doctor of truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
At AM 1400 KVFD.
Yeah, AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. 337 news is next.
To keep your vehicle running at its best, keep up with routine maintenance. The certified service techs at Humboldt Motor Sales make maintaining your vehicle easy. They offer convenient hours and competitive prices on all service and parts. And they take care of your GM warranty needs too. From oil changes to tires, brakes to batteries, engine repair and transmission repair, Humboldt Motor Sales can handle it all. Have your vehicle serviced soon at Humboldt Motor Sales. Log on to HumboldtGM.com to schedule an appointment now or call 800-566-8671. Pure brute strength. That's what you get with Midland hydraulic doors from P&R Entry Door. Midland doors are perfect for commercial and agricultural applications. When you choose a Midland garage door from P&R Entry Door, you can be confident you've chosen the toughest commercial door on the market. Whether you want a shop door for agriculture, an aviation hangar, or a commercial building, P&R Entry Door has what you need. For a free estimate, call 573-8883. P&R Entry Door online at pnrentrydoors.com.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 3:38. First of all, in the weather, 39 degrees. Sunny today, high 43. Don't think we're going to get there. Half hour ago it was 41. Now it's 39. So I don't know if we're going to get to 43. We'll just have to see. Going to be windy, wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour, maybe 40 miles per hour. Overnight, mostly clear with a low of 14. Wind chill factor temperature will be 0. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 24. Wind chill factor temperature again 0. On Thursday, sunny with a high of 30. On Friday, cloudy with a high of 36. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 32. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 35. And on Monday, it'll be sunny with a high of 40. Right now, 39 degrees at AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Brazil's soybean crop is hurting. Hello, I'm Ken Anderson with Managing for Profit on Brownfield. The outlook for Brazil's soybean crop has changed rather dramatically in recent weeks. Hot and dry weather set in just as the crop was entering its critical pod filling stage. Market analyst Michael Cordonier, who is president of Illinois-based Corn and Soybean Advisor, keeps close tabs on South American crop production. And we'll see what he has to say right after this.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Market analyst Michael Cordonnier, who keeps close tabs on South American crop production, has lowered his estimate of Brazil's soybean crop to 116 million tons. And he says it could go even lower. Cordonnier says the hot and dry weather that hurt yields in southern Brazil earlier has now spread into the central and northeast regions of the country.
Those areas have just been getting scattered showers, and now January looks like it's going to be dry and hot, at least for the next couple of weeks in some of those areas. So that crop is at risk as well. So the end result is everybody is lowering their crop estimate. Last year they produced about 120 million tons of soybeans. And the estimates were this year 122, 123, 124 million tons. Well, that's not going to happen. Everybody's estimates are going lower. In fact, my estimate now is 116 million tons. And I have a lower bias going forwards. This should be the peak of the rainy season. And it just doesn't look like that at all in Brazil.
So put this in perspective for us a little more, if you could, this decrease in total production and how that relates to the supplies we have in the U.S. and the situation with China.
Well, had there not been a trade war with China, and if China would have been purchasing soybeans at a normal pace in the United States, this would be really, really big news. But we have a very excess supply of soybeans. China's bought some, not very much. But the fact that they are really down on their purchasing of U.S. soybeans made Brazilian beans much more interesting. So Brazil basically sold out of soybeans this year, and they supplied the soybeans that China needed. The question now is, when will the new crop in Brazil be available? My guess is the first vessel may load maybe by middle of January out of southern Brazil. Normally it loads out the last week of January. So everything's a couple weeks early. So there will be supplies coming out of Brazil by the end of January, but it's really going to perk up in February. So the market's response has been sort of muted, and that's because of the trade issues with China.
And Michael Cordonnier says if the hot, dry weather continues, it could also impact the size of Brazil's safrinha corn crop, the second crop of corn that's planted after soybeans are harvested. Cordonnier is president of Corn and Soybean Advisor. That's managing for profit on Brownfield Ag News for America.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. A new business opened its doors at the Crossroads Mall in Fort Dodge today. The Fish Room has moved into the mall after spending the last 2 years at 1232 Central Avenue. The Fish Room specializes in tropical fish, but owner Tom Bethke says that the business is expanding its product lines.
So we'll have dog food, cat food, stuff for the hamsters, the gerbils, the birds, all that stuff. That will probably take us 2 to maybe 3 weeks before all the lines of the various products will be in. So we're able to expand. We're able to do more stuff with our fish in our new location because of the warehouse space.
Crossroads Mall General Manager Melissa Verscher says the Fish Room is an excellent addition to the mall.
We're very excited to have added the Fish Room to our line, and we look forward to working with them, and we hope everybody comes out to see them.
Bethke says that a grand opening is planned for sometime in February. The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality in the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam, prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR Rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Councilmember Dean Hill expressed his concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in the Little Dam is we have a lot of people to fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design of those structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with the radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge 346. Weather forecast briefly. Again, sunny today. High maybe 43. Pretty gusty. Wind gusts up to 30, maybe 40 miles per hour. Wind chill factor temperature will be around 0 the rest of today. Overnight, mostly clear with a low of 14. Wind chill factor temperature 0 or below. And tomorrow, sunny with a high of 24. Right now, 39 degrees at AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Obituaries this hour brought to you by Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 307 South 12th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 515-576-3156 or online at www.loftusfidoseaversfuneralhome.com. I met Lee Johnson years ago and knew him briefly. Really nice man. I'm sorry to report the passing of Lee Fitzgerald Johnson at the age of 81. His funeral service was today at Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home, then at 10:30 at Sacred Heart Church. Also knew Bob Sullivan a little bit. He passed away at the age of 91. Bob Sullivan's funeral will be at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, then at 10:30 at Corpus Christi Church. Visitation from 4 to 7 for Bob Sullivan at Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home. Mary Patricia Turner has died at the age of 58. Celebration of the life of Mary Patricia Turner will be on Saturday from 1 to 3 at Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home. Dale Hansen has died at 68. Visitation, celebration of the life of Dale M. Hansen will be 5 to 7 Saturday at Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home. Raymond McLaughlin has died at 88. Raymond J. McLaughlin, 88 years old, has passed. His service is Thursday at 10:30 in the morning at Corpus Christi Church. Visitation tomorrow from 4 to 7 at the KC at Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home with the Knights of Columbus with a rosary at 7. Obituaries this hour brought to us by Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 307 South 12th Street, Fort Dodge. You may contact Loftus Fido Seavers Funeral Home and Cremation Services by calling 515-576-3156 or online at www.loftusfidoseaversfuneralhome.com. It's 349 AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge, 39 degrees. Very windy. With a look at the closing market report, here's Dwayne Murley.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. March corn down 2 1/4 at 380. May down 2 1/4 at 388. July closed down 1 3/4 at 395 3/4. September down 1 1/4 at 398 1/2. January soybeans down 6 cents at 906 1/4. March down 5 3/4 at 918 1/2. May down 5 1/4 at 931 3/4. And July beans down 5 1/4 at 943 1/2. March wheat closed up a penny at 517 3/4. Soybean meal down 60 cents a ton at 317.60. February live cattle up 210 at 125.30. April up 107 at 126.15. January feeders up 162 at 147.62. March up 155 at 145.45. February lean hogs up 70 cents at 62.60. April down 35 at 66.02. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Tofu is healthy, but what is it? I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield. Tofu is made from soybeans, and research has tied soy foods to better heart health and prevention of certain diseases such as diabetes and breast cancer. Linda Funk is with the Soy Foods Council and explains how tofu is made.
Tofu is one of those things that if you really didn't grow up with it, sometimes it's difficult to figure it out or what to do with it. And tofu is really like bean curd. So the soybeans are ground up with hot water and then strained, and you get soy milk. Then you take the soy milk and you add a rennet or a thickening agent with it, and then it starts forming tofu.
She says there are two types of tofu at the store, silken and water-packed.
And the water-packed typically is a lot firmer. The silken is soft and silky and really luxurious. It's really a nice product to do blending. So blending with the salad dressing, blending making pudding, blending making yummy desserts, those kinds of things. And you can even put it in soups.
She calls tofu a blank palette that needs flavors added, and it easily absorbs flavorings. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I?
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear. Prepare your family at ready.gov/fire drill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
There's a new Merle Norman studio that's now open for beauty. Visit us today at Mary Kay's Gifts and Home Decor, where you'll find all of your beauty needs under one roof. 'Tis the season to be glam at Merle Norman. Not sure what she wants? How about a Merle Norman gift certificate? Let her choose from innovative skincare products, on-trend color cosmetics, and more. Give her everything she wants and needs. Stop by today for the perfect gift for mom and your bestie. Merle Norman, located at Mary Kay's Gifts and Home Decor, 1108 Central Avenue, downtown Fort Dodge.
We stand for people, progress and pride.
We're the Iowa Farm Bureau, and we support farm families. We're a voice on local, state, and national issues. We're also committed to making rural Iowa a better place to live and keeping Iowa farm families on the farm.
People, progress and pride, it's true. Iowa Farm Bureau, helping you.
Current price times 1,000 acres, carry the one. These days, it's hard to make the math work for your soybean fields. The BASF LibertyLink system with Liberty herbicide makes it easier. Start with a 2+ bushel per acre yield advantage. Add in lower system input costs and more complete weed control, and you get an extra $33 or more profit potential per acre compared to Asgrow Roundup Ready to Extend soybeans. Grow smart with LibertyLink and BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Hi, this is Heather Reck with Neighborhood Realty. Are you thinking about selling your home but not sure who to list with? Well, being from Dayton, I am centrally located between several larger markets and have a vast knowledge of the small surrounding towns and acreages as well. I'm a full-time agent and mom of 3, making me a pro at schedules and time management. But that's not what is most important. At Neighborhood Realty, we'll list it, we'll sell it, and you'll move on. Find our information online at neighborhood-realty.net and make sure to check us out on Facebook.
Oh, Liam dropped his hot fudge sundae on the floor.
Not a problem.
Taylor spilled her juice on the seat, and it's purple.
No biggie.
You're letting Brandon eat pizza in the back seat? There's greasy fingerprints all over the windows now.
Relax. I'll call True Image Detailing. They do full interior and exterior detailing starting as low as $50. I'm talking carpets, seats, windows, the whole shebang. They'll even pick up and drop off our car for free and give me a courtesy vehicle.
True Image Detailing?
Yeah, grab your phone and check them out on Facebook. They're pretty awesome.
True Image Detailing, Fort Dodge.
Warning, if you're buried in debt you can't
4, do not let the credit card companies make you think that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call the debt hotline at 800-659-8369. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you're struggling to pay off your debt, do not let the credit card companies make you think that you have to. Call the debt hotline now for free information on how to get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible without bankruptcy. We offer a guarantee with no upfront fees, so there's no risk. For free information, call the debt hotline now. 1-800-659-8369. That's 800-659-8369. 1-800-659-8369.
The Fort Dodge Convention and Visitors Bureau, Fireball Run Team Fort Dodgers, Mayor Matt Bemrick and Matt Johnson invite you to see Fort Dodge's debut on the big screen at the premiere of Fireball Run Big Country this Thursday night in the Bioscience Center on the Iowa Central Campus. Social time starts at 6:30, followed by the showing of episode 19 of Fireball Run Big Country featuring Fort Dodge. Don't miss the premiere of Fireball Run Big Country this Thursday night on the Iowa Central Community College campus, Fort Dodge.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
Current price times 1,000 acres. Carry the one. These days, it's hard to make the math work for your soybean fields. The BASF Liberty Link system with Liberty herbicide makes it easier. Start with a 2+ bushel per acre yield advantage. Add in lower system input costs and more complete weed control, and you get an extra $33 or more of profit potential per acre compared to Asgrow Roundup Ready to Extend soybeans. Grow smart with Liberty Link and BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Indeed knows it's hard to find qualified candidates when you're hiring.
It's like finding a unicorn.
But when you post your job on Indeed, it's easy to find people with the skills you need.
Nurse practitioner, 4+ years experience, acute care certification.
Indeed has a huge pool of amazing candidates and screener tools that help you find your most qualified applicants.
Whoa, an entire short list of unicorns.
Now, get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms
If you
online.
don't listen to him, you suck.
He's sneaky, but he's right.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Yeah, 358, 39 degrees now and pretty windy. The Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance is collaborating with Iowa Workforce Development and Iowa Economic Development Authority to complete a labor shed employment study for the Webster County area. This study will geographically define which communities contribute to Webster County's workforce, regardless of political boundaries. This defined area is called a labor shed area and is based upon commuting patterns. The purpose of this labor shed study is to measure the availability and characteristics of Webster County area workers. Labor shed studies are useful tools for economic development teams and existing or prospective employers to understand the local labor market, make informed expansion and site selection decisions, and maintain or recruit a high-quality workforce. For the success of this study, we will be sending letters to employers in Webster County asking that they provide us with aggregate counts of their employees, residential zip codes. This will allow us to determine what the scope and scale of the county's labor shed area is and better understand where our labor force resides. Once that labor shed area is determined, a confidential residential telephone survey will be conducted to collect workforce characteristic information specific to the area. The survey call originates out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Therefore, the incoming number will have the 319 area code. It's possible that you may receive a text message from their 888 number as well, alerting you to expect a call from them to take the survey. Survey questions will cover topics such as employment status, current and desired wages, current and desired benefits, education level, and type of occupation among other things. So be aware of that. That's coming up. It's 4:00 in the afternoon. Again, 39 and windy, KVFD.
Hi, this is Leslie Segretti.
And I'm Tom Kreitler, and you can hear the Money Pit every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Prime time from the Oval Office. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It'll be a first for President Trump, who's trying to make his case to the public that border security is national security, as multiple federal agencies remain shut down for an 18th day. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Ahead of the president's national address tonight, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell criticized Democrats for blocking the president's request from Congress for $5 billion in border wall funding.
So this is no newfound principled objection. It's just political spite, a partisan tantrum being prioritized over the public interest.
Democratic lawmakers, meanwhile, are calling on President Trump and Senate Republicans to end the partial government shutdown, which has left 800,000 federal workers furloughed or working without pay. Lisa?
John, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer will offer a rebuttal after the president's remarks. Pelosi, moments ago, alongside former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was shot in the head 8 years ago today at a constituents event in Arizona.
Stopping gun violence takes courage.
Giffords helping to unveil a bill that would expand background checks for gun purchases. The gunman who left her critically wounded and killed 6 other people is serving life in prison. 2 cases pitting states against other states will not be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. Justices turning away one fight over larger living areas for some farm animals required in California and Massachusetts. 15 other states challenged those rules. The Supreme Court also will not hear the long-running battle over a delicacy, foie gras, banned in California because it's made by force-feeding ducks and geese. Out-of-state producers took issue with that. This is Fox News.
Hey guys, how's your game going? If you know what I mean. A lot of you know me, but you may not know my name. I'm sildenafil, the active ingredient in that little blue pill, that helps guys with ED. I'm really super excited to tell you I've moved into a generic pill that you can get at forhims.com. Gosh, guys, everybody wants to perform their best, but not everyone could afford me. In that little blue pill. But now I can be yours at forhims.com. Hims connects you with licensed doctors who can prescribe me online, and then I get delivered right to your door. So easy. And get this, your first month is just $5 when you go to forhims.com/guys. $5 for a whole month of me? That should make every guy stand up and cheer. To get your first order for just $5, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/guys. That's forhims.com/guys. Get started today for just $5 at forhims.com/guys.
See website for full details. Not all services through the HIMS platform are available in all 50 states.
Lawyer who attended an infamous meeting at Trump Tower is now charged in an unrelated case, accused of obstructing justice to help clients.
Natalia Veselnitskaya has been indicted in federal court in New York. Prosecutors say the lawyer, who's believed to be living in Russia, lied in a civil proceeding involving a Russian tax refund fraud scheme. Veselnitskaya attended a 2016 meeting in Trump Tower with campaign officials, claiming to have dirt on Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump Jr. and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, have said the meeting amounted to nothing. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
It's a high-tech wonderland, the annual Consumer Electronics Show underway in Las Vegas. Fox's Brett Larson is there.
Artificial intelligence is huge, and you may actually already be using it. Artificial intelligence is in things like your Alexa smart device, your Google Home. When you talk to Siri, that's artificial intelligence. Those things are finding their way into all sorts of devices that are in our homes. Think about kitchen faucets, bathroom mirrors, devices that you put in your home for safety, smoke detectors, and they're all starting to be interconnected as well.
Another example, a new Wi-Fi deadbolt that works with Amazon Key. More evidence of just how popular streaming has become. Nielsen out with big numbers for the movie Bird Box.
No. Open your eyes. Please don't take my children!
The Sandra Bullock thriller on Netflix was watched by nearly 26 million unduplicated people over its first week. That means it's in Roseanne territory. She of the 27 million mark. It's second only to the first 7 days of Stranger Things 2. Nielsen found day 8 of Bird Box to be its single most watched day in terms of average minute audience.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Netflix had reported even higher viewership. 3 days of gains in a row on Wall Street. The Dow up 256. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. A new business opened its doors at the Crossroads Mall in Fort Dodge today. The Fish Room has moved into the mall after spending the last 2 years at 1232 Central Avenue. The Fish Room specializes in tropical fish, but owner Tom Bethke says that the business is expanding its product lines.
So we'll have dog food, cat food, stuff for the hamsters, the gerbils, the birds, all that stuff. That will probably take us 2 to maybe 3 weeks before all the lines of the various products will be in. So we're able to expand. We're able to do more stuff with our fish in our new location because of the warehouse space.
Crossroads Mall General Manager Melissa Verscher says the Fish Room is an excellent addition to the mall.
We're very excited to have added the Fish Room to our line, and we look forward to working with them, and we hope everybody comes out to see them.
Bethke says that a grand opening is planned for sometime in February. The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam, the Hydro Dam, at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality of the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam. Prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR Rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Council member Dean Hill expressed his concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in the Little Dam is we have a lot of people that fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design of those structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt, starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. A wind advisory continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 42. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet tonight. Lows dip down to about 15. Clear skies and quiet again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 24. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 39.
Flu season is here. Have you had your shot? Make sure you and your family are protected from the flu by stopping into Daniel Pharmacy for your flu shot. The pharmacists at Daniel Pharmacy are ready to give you your shot today. While you're at Daniel's, they'll check your immunization record to see if you also need a pneumonia, shingles, or whooping cough vaccine. And if you've got a cold, let their helpful staff show you which over-the-counter cold medication works best. Daniel Pharmacy, caring for you and about you for over 50 years. General Store is giving you the VIP treatment. Come in today and pick up the General Store VIP punch card. For every transaction of $10 on regularly priced merchandise you make, you'll get 1 punch on your card. When you have 5 punches, they'll give you $10 off your next regularly priced purchase. Don't wait. The special VIP treatment is for a limited time only. Remember, everything at the General Store is always tax-free, and all proceeds go toward helping people in our community. Get the VIP treatment today at the General Store, 12 North 25th, Fort Dodge. Fort Dodge location only.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1616 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1616. Enjoy.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
Can I ask you something, but without you taking it the wrong way?
Sure.
Are you stupid?
Michael Devine at AM 1400.
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
With 60 rounds of freedom.
Yeah, don't take it personally or take it the wrong way, but I just have a question. Are you stupid? AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine, and joining me now is City Manager David Furyk. Hi, David.
Was that question posed to me?
No, absolutely not. No, I know you're not
Hi,
stupid.
Mike. Only half the time.
I asked that. I asked that as an open question to some members of the council, but anyway, no, not you. I know what you're doing. We were talking a little bit off mic about the decision of the council last night, and it was postponed because of some nonsense down at the state level, I guess.
I wouldn't call it that. But
I know you don't want to be on record as calling. Let me reel that back. We don't want to insult you. If we get egos involved down there at the state, we'll never get that dam taken out. So the fine and generous and careful people at the state of Iowa, after due consultation and research and thoughtfulness and prayer and whatever else they did, granted a permit for us to take out this old dam.
Yeah.
Two dams, right. And apparently there was a problem with the Historical Society.
Yeah. So, well, it wasn't a problem with the Historical Society. And to explain the holdup from December requires me to kind of give a little detail on how this thing is structured. So when you do something like remove dams in waterways that the Corps has authority and the Iowa Department of Natural Resources have authority, they do it in this intergovernmental review team. And the team reviews the permits, what's going to happen, well, how's it going to be taken out. And through the process, different agencies are involved, some at a very core level like the Corps and DNR, and some at a tangent level like State Historic Preservation Agency, or the as I think there's an archaeology group that's also involved. Well, in this process early on, it was identified again through a kind of a quasi little study that these dams had historical relevance, which means the State Historic Preservation Office had to comment on the dam removal. And somehow in this process, the team doesn't do a lot of these, so they're not doing this on a regular basis. This isn't routine for them. Somewhere in that, the communication got dropped between the Corps and SHPO, or the State Historic Preservation Office. And then right before we were
You are a master of these bureaucratic acronyms, I got to tell you. You and Plouts.
I've been doing this too long.
SHPO.
You know, when you do this too long, you then use the acronyms.
That's all right.
And you think I'm bad, you got to go meet with some federal bureaucrat and see their.
Oh, no. I would never do that.
They have an acronym for everything.
Oh, I know. They expect you, and they think you know what they're talking about.
It's almost like speaking a foreign language. Anyways, I'm not going to pick on them feds, but so.
Yeah, well, we're far enough away.
But the Historic Preservation Office wanted to comment, and so that kind of put the whole brakes on the Corps issuing the permit, because we were ready to issue the the bids for the demolition of both dams back. I think it was December 17th, if I got that date right, whatever that Monday was, third Monday. And I put the brakes on it. Well, I mean, SHPO actually, or the State Historic Preservation Office, sorry, has been really very cooperative and worked very diligently on trying to speed up their review. I mean, I think they had 90 days initially, and they actually did it in like 7 to get their review and their letter to the Corps, and then the Corps finally issued our permits. So we were able to award the contract. The last thing we want to do is not be able to award the contract because we got really aggressive numbers, really positive numbers from the contractor out of Minnesota, and we want them to start right away. And this is the time you remove dams, is
Right.
in the wintertime. So we were
That's odd.
impatient.
Why do you remove dams better in the
Typically low flow or frozen?
Lower,
It's
okay.
easier to
All right.
to maneuver. I mean, they're going to take an excavator down the slope and then start with, with, I'm assuming, a big jackhammer on an excavator, start taking out pieces of the dam.
That works for me.
Yeah. So that's how it. That's why there was a delay in it, and so the contract's been awarded. There actually was going to be a pre-construction conference, I think, today on it, and hopefully we'll start.
What sort
seeing
of conference did you
It's
say?
called a pre-construction conference, and that's when the parties get in the room and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to mobilize, here's when we're going to mobilize, and kind of go over the logistics of it between city staff, our engineering staff, the design consultants, which is Snyder, and then the contractor. So we could see some work as early as next week, probably 2 weeks or so before we see some work. And the contractor's saying 60 days and both of the dams are out.
Now, I haven't been down there for a while, to be honest with you. Is there anything left of the old powerhouse?
For the hydro dam?
Yeah.
Just the foundation.
Are they going to take the foundation out then?
No. And that's one of the things that the State Historic Preservation Office wanted to comment on with the demolition. They want us to leave the foundation.
All right.
And then they want
Just
to
the powerhouse.
of the powerhouse, and they want us to leave what they call one of the gate foundations. The gates are gone. We took those out a couple years ago when they were failing. The concrete around it, they want us to leave one of those gate foundations as a representative of what it used to look like. And we're also going to do some interpretive historical markers down there showing images of what the old dam looked like. And the other cool thing is I'm glad they want us to leave it in, because initially the Corps they wanted it to clean it up as much as possible.
Right.
I kind of like it because I want to make and this is stuff we got to get permitted through everybody again, but make that kind of an outlook where people can walk out there and look over the water. I mean, it'll be super cool.
We need Donald
Part
Trump
of
as
the park.
governor of the state of Iowa. He'll just order it done. AM 1400 KVFD. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, for the ceremony to start the destruction off, will you have Menke down there with a sledgehammer? And
I
strike
think
first blow?
Menke can't pick up a sledgehammer. So, no. Maybe he can pick up a ball peen hammer.
Maybe give him a chipping hammer.
Maybe so. He got up out of a chair successfully the other day, so I think for the time being, that's going to be it. But
No, and I don't. In all seriousness, I don't think we'll have a ceremony on it, but we will. We're planning on having a webcam showing the progress of
There we
it,
go.
time lapse of the dam removal.
webcam, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Kim can go down there and just repeatedly bash his head into the dam till it's done and it's crumbled. No.
All this picking on my
Your council people are
they're great people.
I love them. I personally love our council. I think they're fun. I think they're a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm trying to get Nevin Conrad over here to explain opportunity zones. Is he the guy to go
Nevin
to?
Conrad?
No, yeah.
Well, I mean, he could do it. Vicky Reek knows as much about opportunity zones as anybody.
Vicky does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I would never pick on Vicky. I like Vicky.
Oh, yeah, she'd be good to have on. We can have her on and talk about opportunity zones. In fact, the Growth Alliance is meeting about that right now.
Are they really?
With some of their staff. I'm going to go.
Well,
after
Nevin
this.
was recommended to me by someone as an attorney who understood opportunity zones. But Vicky, I didn't think of Vicky.
Yeah, well, if Nevin can't get on, or Nevin and Vicky can do it together,
Whatever.
if you want.
Well,
We can have they're pretty cool. I mean, they're new, and people are just starting to understand the rules that have been put out. But it can really spur development. Why that matters for Fort Dodge is our downtown is basically in an opportunity zone, so it gives people who have capital gains an opportunity to protect some of their capital gains if they invest in projects in opportunity zones.
Well, I didn't think of Vicky. And of course, you're a little squirrely about getting some of the city employees over here. Sometimes you think I'm going to embarrass them or try to say something to them. I'm not. I really like Vicky, and she's very capable, very knowledgeable. She's worked over at the city forever. I think Denny Plowtz told me that she started as a clerk typist too.
Yes.
In his office when he worked in the city planning department.
She
educated herself
and is now our director of community and economic development.
And she's terrific, by the way.
Yeah.
And she does have a deep well of knowledge of what's happening. So, see, I can be very complimentary when it's due.
Yep.
I don't really mean to insult Kim. I just thought that was funny, but you turned white over there.
He's one of my bosses.
He's one of your that's okay. So we don't want you to get you in trouble with your employer.
So again, the other cool things with the dam project and why we were really again, we got very good bids, is that it gives us, we had a budget for this project and it's coming significantly under it. Gives us an opportunity to do things with the leftover money. The first thing we're doing, and we're currently having our designer Snyder finish up some design to create some fishing amenities where the dams are being removed, create some holes and some other jetties and things that, and create some access to get to help the fishermen get down to the water. I'm not by no means a fishing expert, so I don't know exactly what makes for good fishing. I know the DNR fishery folks said getting those dams out will increase and improve the fish habitat throughout the whole river. Now they may not all hang out by the dam anymore because it won't be there, but we're going to work on creating some really good opportunities for fishermen and other people just to get down to the river and make it a fun recreational attraction.
Do you think that'll happen?
Yeah, we have the money for it.
You have the money for it and everything.
Yeah. From again, I don't know what everything's going to cost. I know what we got a basic cost in our preliminary design.
I'm asking that because don't we have money for Olson Park, and we don't seem to be moving too fast on that Olson Park thing.
Yeah, well, we did some stuff, and then we have another about $1 million budgeted in the 2019 bond for Olson Park.
Okay.
Yeah, and this may not go as fast as we hope. We can go really fast, and ideally, if we could get some permits on some of these features quickly, we can have the contractor who's currently here bid on that or do a change order so they can get done as part of it. I don't know if those things can get permitted in 60 days. That to me, that sounds pretty quick. But, we'll try our best.
That does sound pretty quick, doesn't it? Somebody's got to drag it out just because they can. I'm going to have to go out and get a sledgehammer now and bring it in here just so Minky can, be on camera tomorrow on YouTube and show everybody you can lift your sledgehammer.
Get a sledgehammer. Maybe we'll get an old one, paint the head of it gold or something, have a golden sledgehammer.
There you go.
There you go. At it.
Or find a sledgehammer made out of some super heavy material. They can't lift up. Nobody can lift up. Minky will give it. All right, I can lift this sledgehammer. I heard you. You said you can't lift the sledgehammer. Anyway, David Furick is our guest at AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. So what else did we discuss at the council meeting last night? Not having been there.
Other than the dam removal contracts, we had a presentation.
When did you say they were going to start then? You said it was going to be all over and done in 60 days?
Well, the contractor said 30 to 60 days from when they start. And, I think we're expecting them to start in a week or two. So it could be pretty quick.
All right.
I'm only going on what I've been told. I'm
no
expert on that. I mean, it could take longer. Or, the weather could screw this whole thing up too. And, if you end up getting a lot of rain or something like that, and the water levels get too high, they can't do it. But this time of year, we shouldn't get rain. But this weather has been so weird the last couple of years.
You were talking about something in relation to the dam, and, I'm just all over the place here with you. I was doing all right until you got here and screwed me up, David. But you were talking about a certain waterfall, 15-foot waterfall that was required for.
So no, what I was talking about is when, and I'm going from memory from information I haven't looked at in a long time, so I could be a little off on it. But if I recall correctly, the hydroelectric dam has about 18 foot of fall when it's fully filled, back when the gates were up and everything like that.
Right.
The water actually had 15 or 18 feet of fall between the top where it goes in and where it went through the turbines, and then where it came out at the bottom. And but I mean, the river hasn't been 18 feet higher from one side to the other because those gates have been out for quite some time. I mean, you get a few times where it gets higher when the water's been flooding, but not significantly. So the point I was making then is, with hydroelectricity, it never panned out to be really efficient on a river like ours, because it's not consistent enough. You can generate a fair amount of power, but there's
not consistent enough.
No,
really.
I mean, because when the river freezes, it doesn't generate as much power. There's low times. There's a whole bunch of times where you can't expect consistent power from hydroelectricity from the Des Moines River. The river is too flat to create enough of a big pool of water behind it where, even if you had droughts or other things, you got plenty of water to run out of there to power your generators. We just, we've looked at that 100 different ways. Gosh, almost back when I got here,
Sure.
We looked at it because that was back the deal when I first started. It was, there was that contract with that company that wanted to restart it and do hydroelectric, and we
Lutz threw them out of town. That was pretty smart too.
Found out that really wasn't going to be lucrative, and it
was a huge ripoff to those guys in Cedar Rapids, is what it was.
Yeah, and then
Lutz talked about it on the air when he was still mayor here.
Yeah, because we had a study done and said, hey, this isn't going to work this as well as they think from a financial standpoint. You're going to lose a bunch of money on this. The city's going to lose a bunch of money. So it took us a while to unwind that, and then we tried to figure out what the heck we're going to do with that dam. And at one point, we were thinking about trying to leave as much of the impoundment and create whitewater rapids, and then that was going to be, the prices we got for that were like $6 million, $4 million, and council's like, well, I don't know how we're going to do that. That's not a high enough priority. So, I mean, now with this removal, we're at about $1.4 million for both of them. So,
I don't know who negotiated that contract with those guys from Cedar Rapids, but that looked pretty funny. That didn't look good at all.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that, how you generate power and the economics behind electricity and electric power generation is so complicated.
So we're getting much better result from wind power.
Well, I think so. I think wind power is way more efficient. Again, you probably ought to get an expert, which I'm not, but I think at one point
you're awfully humble today. You know that.
Well,
you're just not an expert in anything.
No, I'm not. That's kind of the definition of city managers. Expert at nothing. He manages experts.
All right, and you have Kim Allstadt for a boss.
But anyways, wind power in Iowa is way more efficient as far as the amount of kilowatts you can generate on a regular basis versus hydroelectric on the Des Moines River.
I got a text. How much you want to bet this is Minky? No, it's not. All right. Okay. Well, it's about something else. I thought it was Minky. Okay. Threatening to bring in a sledgehammer tomorrow, so
he might.
Yeah. I doubt it. But I should bring one. Yeah. I should bring one. Anyway, David Fierik's our guest. He's a city manager, 515-955-1400. Can I call Vicky separately then and bring her in and talk about opportunity zones? Or
I can let her know too. And
would you please?
Yeah, and then just find a time.
I can always figure out. I just like to keep you on this time because you turned out to be a pretty good guest. You did. You really did. You're very informative, and you, despite your protestations to the contrary, you do know what you're doing and know what you're talking about most of the time. In fact, I haven't caught you yet screwing up totally, and I've been listening.
Well, if I screw up, it's not intentional.
It's not intentional. I believe that. I've learned one thing about being on this microphone. Once it's out there, you can't pull it back. You can't erase it like you can in newspaper or something. Oh, it's out there, boy. Somebody heard it.
This day and age where everything's recorded.
Oh,
and
isn't it?
Back on SoundCloud or.
By the way, we have audio and video of all my programs on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in 1400 KVFD. You can see David Fierik and I live, or anybody and I live, really, and it's all recorded. So if you want to see this later in the day, if you want to sit home tonight and listen and watch the David Fierik and I show here in the studio, you may just go to youtube.com and then type in 1400 KVFD, and there's all my shows. a bunch of them. And believe me, Minky checks it out. He checks it out. Because Minky is one of the more detailed people I ever met.
He is. He's always prepared.
He's always prepared. And, well, you want to talk about a guy who brings the facts with him. He's not much for speculation, and that's good. And he's not one of these guys that says, well, gee, I think, hundreds of people were calling me. And, or I got a couple calls this week, and then can't back it up. But no, he's not that type of guy. Not that type of guy at all. Is there anything else we need to know, David?
Top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, all right. I appreciate you coming in. I really do.
No problem.
All right, David Fierks. All right, David Fierks been our guest at AM 1400 KVFD.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
We're making radio great again, ladies and gentlemen. Shelley Blunk from Iowa Central is coming up after the news as Divine Intervention continues at AM 1400 KVFD.
Meaningful memorialization starts when loved ones talk about what matters most.
Grandpa, this card asks, what was your favorite vacation?
Well, we didn't go on vacation when I was a kid, but our family did go fishing when we could. My dad could always find the best fishing holes, and he taught me how to clean the fish, too.
You mean you ate the fish you caught?
You bet.
Sharing stories and memories with those who matter most isn't just important today, it will be especially significant when it's time to honor a life lived. Contact Gunderson Funeral Home to learn more about having the talk of a lifetime.
To keep your vehicle running at its best, keep up with routine maintenance. The certified service techs at Humboldt Motor Sales make maintaining your vehicle easy. They offer convenient hours and competitive prices on all service and parts. And they take care of your GM warranty needs too. From oil changes to tires, brakes to batteries, engine repair and transmission repair, Humboldt Motor Sales can handle it all. Have your vehicle serviced soon at Humboldt Motor Sales. Log on to HumboldtGM.com to schedule an appointment now or call 800-566-8671.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 866-844-7344 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 866-844-7344. That's 866-844-7344.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. A new business opened its doors at the Crossroads Mall in Fort Dodge today. The Fish Room has moved into the mall after spending the last 2 years at 1232 Central Avenue. The Fish Room specializes in tropical fish, but owner Tom Bethke says that the business is expanding its product lines.
So we'll have dog food, cat food, stuff for the hamsters, the gerbils, the birds, all that stuff. That will probably take us 2 to maybe 3 weeks before all the lines of the various products will be in. So we're able to expand. We're able to do more stuff with our fish in our new location because of the warehouse space.
Crossroads Mall General Manager Melissa Verscher says the Fish Room is an excellent addition to the mall.
We're very excited to have added the Fish Room to our line, and we look forward to working with them, and we hope everybody comes out to see them.
Bethke says that a grand opening is planned for sometime in February. The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam, the Hydro Dam, at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality of the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam. Prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Council member Dean Hill expresses concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in Little Dam is we have a lot of people to fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fish, for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design of those structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt, starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. A wind advisory continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 42. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet tonight. Lows dip down to about 15. Clear skies and quiet again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 24. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 36.
AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. It's 436. The Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance is collaborating with the Iowa Workforce Development and Iowa Economic Development Authority to complete a labor shed employment study for the Webster County area. This study will geographically define which communities contribute to Webster County's workforce, regardless of political boundaries. This defined area is called a labor shed area and is based upon commuting patterns. The purpose of this labor shed study is to measure the availability and characteristics of the Webster County area workers. Labor shed studies are useful tools for economic development teams and existing or prospective employers to understand the local labor market, make an informed expansion and site selection decisions, and maintain and recruit a high-quality workforce. For the success of this study, we will be sending letters to employees in Webster County asking that they provide us with aggregate counts of their employees' residential zip codes. This will allow us to determine what the scope and scale of the county's labor shed area is and better understand where our workforce resides. Again, this is a press release from the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. Once that labor shed area is determined, a confidential residential telephone survey will be conducted to collect workforce characteristic information specific to the area. The survey call originates out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Therefore, the incoming number will have the 319 area code. It is possible that you may receive a text message from their 888 number as well, alerting you to expect a call from them to take the survey. Survey questions will cover topics such as, the survey call originates out of Cedar Rapids, therefore the incoming number will have the 319 area code. It is possible that you may receive a text message from their 888 number as well, alerting you to expect a call from them to take the survey. Survey questions will cover topics such as employment status, current and desired wages, current and desired benefits, education level, and type of occupation, among other things. However, Iowa Workforce Development will not be asking survey takers identifiable information such as name, social security number, or date of birth. Every year, Iowa Workforce Development conducts labor shed studies across the state. The results of each analysis are publicly available online at www.iowa.almi.gov/laborshed. If you have any questions about the Labor Shed project, please contact Katie Lippold at 515-281-3035 or Kelly Halstead at 955-5500. Thank you for your support and participation. Again, that's a press release from the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. March corn down 2 1/4 at 380. May down 2 1/4 at 388. July closed down 1 3/4 at 395 3/4. September down 1 1/4 at 398 1/2. January soybeans down 6 cents at 906 1/4. March down 5 3/4 at 918 1/2. May down 5 1/4 at 931 3/4. And July beans down 5 1/4 at 943 1/2. March wheat closed up a penny at 517 3/4. Soybean meal down 60 cents a ton at 317.60. February live cattle up 210 at 125.30. April up 107 at 126.15. January feeders up 162 at 147.62. March up 155 at 145.45. February lean hogs up 70 cents at 62.60. April down 35 at 66.02. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Hi, this is Anna Smith, your bilingual real estate agent with Neighborhood Realty. Did you know the average person moves 5 times over their lifetime? If it's moving time for you, Neighborhood Realty is ready to help sell your home quickly and professionally. We know the area, the market, and we have a growing number of agents working as a team to get your home sold. But that isn't what's most important. At Neighborhood Realty, we'll list it, we'll sell it, and you'll move on. Para vender o comprar su casa, llame al 515-576-2102 or visit us at neighborhood-realty.net.
If you don't listen to him, you suck.
He's sneaky, but he's right.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's where we are. And joining me on the phone is Shelley Blanc. How are you, Shelley?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm real good. I thank you so much for being on the air with us today. Shelley Blanc works out at Iowa Central, and she is the Community Education Director. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, for the most part. I work in economic and workforce development. You bet.
Okay, you work in economic and workforce development. Thank you very much. Shelley, Jim Kirsten and I have talked, and he suggested you to me several times, of course. Yeah. You don't like Jim dumping me on you. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. No, we're talking about how much I don't think, and Jim and I have talked about this many times. I've talked about it with Denny Plotz. We really cannot conceive of, as we sit here today, of the enormous changes that are going to happen in our area and the enormous changes that are going to happen in our world. We have Prestige Farms, of course. That is going to be the biggest driver of change in our area. And possibly the crossroads of global innovation is Kelly likes me to say. But all of these jobs, this is not our fathers or grandfathers' packing plant business anymore. All these jobs, or 90% of them, I'm going to assume, require some sort of education.
Right.
Could you talk to us a little bit about education and the challenges of the future and the jobs that will be in our area in the future?
Yeah, and right now, I talk about this every day, that I think businesses, I'm seeing them becoming more and more aggressive at recruiting students, recruiting high school kids, recruiting college kids. Some of the changes that I foresee and that are happening as we speak are businesses are going into our high schools, recruiting high school kids, hiring them straight out of high school, and then providing the training directly to the students within the business structure. They're paying them for their training. So I just think education is going to become more and more creative, more relevant, ways that we can connect it directly with business and industry. I think ways that we can get individuals trained and back out to the workforce are going to be seen as very positive methods for workforce development. It's a big world, and there's not one thing that's going to solve it or be the answer. I think employers are going to look at all different aspects, from recruitment, retention, the whole gamut, and growing our own.
Well, yeah, I do want to stay focused on our immediate area. Let's define a little bit better what we talk about when we talk about education. We're not necessarily talking about a 4-year degree. We're talking about technical training. Is that correct?
That is correct. And, technical training may only last 2 weeks.
Really?
We have coming up a safety certificate. It lasts, I think that one's a week long. And in that, you get your OSHA certification, CPR certification, forklift certification, and you learn some resume interview skills. So that may be just the kicker to help you get that job. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a 1 year, a 2 year commitment. You could do it while you're actually working. We've got programs that, employers hire individuals and, they educate you, they train you right while you're working.
So this safety certificate, that takes 2 weeks, or how long does that take?
That one, I believe, is a week-long program.
Okay, it's a week-long program, and I suppose that's available during the day.
Yep, but we have a night welding program that's starting today in Eagle Grove.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, that's at night.
Is there a night welding program going to be available in Fort Dodge?
Potentially, yep.
Because I always wanted to take that for some, I would be interested in that. I'll say I want to stay focused on our conversation. I don't want to get into why I want to take a welding class. But Shelley Blanc is our guest, and we're talking about career opportunities and education, how to get a job, and what it takes, what sort of training employers are looking for. In your conversations with employers, or when you're looking at research, as far as local employers are concerned, what sort of training are they looking for? Are they looking for welders or machinists, or what are they looking for?
Can I just say yes to all of the above?
Okay.
Yes, it's a lot of technical skills. The machinists, the welders, electricians, trades, a lot of trade and industry, building trades, a lot of the hands-on skill sets, and a lot of times it's just they're looking for someone that's willing to learn, someone that's got an open mind, that's just willing to put in a hard day's work and learn and grow with the company.
Well, that would I hope we can still deliver that in this part of the world. Iowa used to be known for producing hardworking farm kids.
You bet.
Who were absolutely dependable, and I hope we still have that reputation.
You bet.
I do understand that some of the employers do struggle with young people just showing up on time. Have you found that to be a problem in your conversations?
Yeah, it's something that we hear about a lot. Employers are keeping people that normally they wouldn't necessarily like to keep because they can't find the talent pool to backfill. They're really struggling and looking at all different avenues to recruit, retain individuals, grow our own, work with the schools, how can they get to our youth and educate them on the opportunities that exist right here locally.
You're working, I assume, with Prestige Farms.
Yep.
What sort of skilled workers are they looking for there? Again, is this practically everything, or?
Yeah, they have a lot of openings, a lot of the the maintenance, and then their production. Someone that's got a good head on them that's willing to work and willing to learn. Like any new job, you're going to learn some specific information that's specific to the company, and obviously safety is always important. They're handling food, so they have additional requirements, but those can be handled all internally. So looking for good candidates.
How many programs does Iowa Central offer that fit with what Prestige Farms wants? Let me rephrase the last part of that question. Have you developed any new programs because of Prestige Farms?
I don't want to say anything new because it's not just, I think Prestige is gonna have a workforce need, but they're gonna pull some of our existing employees, and so all the other employers are gonna have needs as well. But we do have our IMAP program going, and then we have another specific second level, and that's a manufacturing specific program over in Eagle Grove. to take them more into the maintenance area, with the idea that they could not just go to Prestige, but they could go anywhere.
What is IMAPS again, Shelley?
IMAP is the Integrated Manufacturing Achievement Program. And it's you learn, some of the basic fundamentals in manufacturing, but then you also learn, how to sell yourself, your resume, your interview skills. We link you with potential employers, and maybe you need some additional language assistance. Maybe it's technology or terminology assistance. And so those classes are all team taught with a technical instructor, as well as one of our career navigators that's going to help you connect with employers.
Shelley Blanc's our guest, and we're talking jobs and job training in our area. I get a little too focused on just Webster County and Fort Dodge sometime. But I know we want to include a wide area. I've seen in my travels around the area, I've seen big billboards from Prestige Farms in Algona. Where was I the other day? Maybe I was over in Storm Lake even that had billboards. Prestige Farms, is it full? Have you heard as anything as far as when Prestige Farms will be opening and trying to get to full capacity? Because I haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I would say that's a Prestige thing that they can release that information. I'm not exactly positive.
Okay, I still call the Fort Dodge Labs the Fort Dodge Labs, even though it hasn't been that for a long, long time. But are they actively in need of skilled people? And if they are, what sort of programs does Iowa Central have for people working out there?
Are you talking about like Elanco?
Elanco, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm not positive on Elanco. I think I've seen advertisements, and we do job postings for them on what kind of skill sets that they're exactly looking for on an ongoing basis. But I work a lot with their HR folks and engage them with appropriate programs such as maintenance. That seems to be one of the areas that is in high demand.
Okay. Where is the greatest demand for labor coming from right now? Or am I using should I be saying labor? Labor conjures up kind of a term of like production work labor or unskilled labor. Maybe I should be using the term skilled workers.
Yeah. I hear a lot in the maintenance area that's definitely a demand. And you need to have some sort of background, experience, exposure to work in the maintenance field.
Sure.
So I guess that would be the area, and that's a big area. That could include welding, electrical. It could include some automation. It's very broad.
Shelley Blanc's our guest. She's out at Iowa Central. If a young person had a question, or a parent or whoever, or a concerned person had a question on what's happening at Iowa Central and the educational opportunities available, how should they find out about that, or who could they call?
Well, they could call out to Iowa Central. We're out at East Campus. They could call 515-574-1293, or they could check out our website at iowacentral.edu/business and community.
Give that to me again, please.
It is iowacentral.edu/business and community.
/business and community. I'll put that out over the air a few times if you don't mind.
Awesome.
All right. Shelley Blanc has been our guest. Shelley, thank you for taking this time to talk about job opportunities in our area. This is going to be a big story for quite a long time.
You bet.
Thank you, Shelley Blanc.
Yep. Thank you.
AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge, 453.
Active Health Chiropractic, leading our community to health.
Discover true wellness at Active Health Chiropractic. Hi, I'm Dr. Zach Mason. When you choose Active Health Chiropractic, you choose healing without drugs, life with mobility, and improved health with chiropractic. You'll love our new state-of-the-art facility, and you'll be amazed at how much better you feel. Call our office today and ask about the gift of health. Don't wait. Active Health Chiropractic, Fort Dodge.
And feel better today.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks on a tear Tuesday. The Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 closing up for a third straight day, mainly because of productive trade talks between the U.S. and China. Sears will live on, at least for another day. A bankruptcy judge saying the chairman of the company has till Wednesday at 4 p.m. to pay a $120 million deposit on its $4.4 billion rescue offer. And if he does, Sears then will compare his bid with others during the liquidation auction, which takes place on January 14th. So the best job to have in 2019 is software developer. That's according to U.S. News and World Report. Their research looks at things like hiring demand, median salary, and work-life balance. Now, they say the best paying job is anesthesiologist with an average annual salary of nearly $266,000. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Connell McShane.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
First impressions are everything. What kind of first impression are people getting when they walk into your business? Are the carpets clean and the floors shiny? Or do they look like they haven't been cleaned in months or even years? Make a good first impression with the help of Flat Out Clean Janitorial Services. They'll come to your business and clean everything from the floor to the ceiling. They'll even travel within a 30-mile radius of Fort Dodge. For a free estimate, find them on Facebook or call 570-9672. Flat Out Clean Janitorial Services, Fort Dodge.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Take the worry out of winter with a winter weather advisor on KVFD, brought to you by Community Health Center Fort Dodge, offering dental, behavioral health, and general medical assistance for men, women, and children. They're committed to your well-being. Community Health Center. Get to know them. And Creative Cakes, making life sweet with espresso, lunch, gourmet cupcakes, and other sweet treats. Creative Cakes in the Crossroads Mall, Fort Dodge. They make life sweet. Listen for the winter weather advisor on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. A wind advisory continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Mainly clear skies and quiet tonight with a low of 14. Winds out of the northwest, 20 to 30 miles an hour. Mainly sunny skies and calm tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 23. Overcast skies tomorrow night, 12. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 36 degrees.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. March corn down 2 1/4 at 3.80. May down 2 1/4 at 3.88. July closed down 1 3/4 at 3.95 3/4. September down 1 1/4 at 3.98 1/2. January soybeans down 6 cents at 9.06 1/4. March down 5 3/4 at 9.18 1/2. May down 5 1/4 at 9.31 3/4. And July beans down 5 1/4 at 9.43 1/2. March wheat closed up a penny at 5.17 3/4. Soybean meal down 60 cents a ton at 3.1760. February live cattle up 210 at 125.30. April up 107 at 126.15. January feeders up 162 at 147.62. March up 155 at 145.45. February lean hogs up 70 cents at 62.60. April down 35 at 66.02. I'm Dwayne Murley.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1616 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1616. Enjoy.
Vine at AM 1400
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
with 60 rounds of freedom.
Hey, tell you what, thanks for listening today. I really appreciate it. I do. Thank you to my guest, Steve Peterson, Shelley Blunt. Hey, David Furyk especially. Furyk is really good on the air, isn't he? I didn't know if he would be, but he's just terrific. Tomorrow we'll have Greg Hora, Councilman Terry Minke, the only councilman who appears on this show anymore. And I'm dissing him about not being able to lift up a sledgehammer. Shouldn't do that, I suppose. We'll have Father Patrick Boehm and somebody from the Webster County Board of Supervisors. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, KVFD, Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Straight talk on life and money. This is the Dave Ramsey Show on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400, KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Making the case. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Just 3 hours from now, President Trump set to address the nation to push for his campaign-promised border wall as the government shutdown wears on. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Counselors to the president, Kellyanne Conway, telling Fox News that the situation along the U.S.-Mexico border has become a humanitarian crisis.
The president wants legal immigration and wants people to come through the ports of entry and not take this dangerous journey. These children are coming here by themselves or as family units. They're being promised things that simply don't exist.
The president tonight in a nationally televised address will lay out the case that there's a crisis at the southern border and a wall is desperately needed. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer will deliver the Democratic response. Lisa?
John, you can hear the president's speech and the Democrat response beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern on many of these Fox radio stations. House Democrats unveiling legislation that would call for deeper background checks for gun sales. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
8 years to the day since nearly being killed in a mass shooting in Arizona, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords helped introduce an expanded background check bill.
Be bold, be courageous. The nation's counting on you.
The measure would require background checks on all private firearms purchases. A similar bill was introduced last year. House Republicans did not take up that measure. It's unclear what support an expanded background check bill would have in the Republican-led Senate. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Stocks climb for the third day in a row as the latest round of trade talks between Washington and Beijing continue. The Dow jumped 256 points. The Nasdaq added 73. The S&P increased 24. And Sears received another lifeline when the company's chairman and largest shareholder promised to line up the necessary financing to keep the chain afloat. This is Fox News.
Hey guys, how's your game going? If you know what I mean. A lot of you know me, but you may not know my name. I'm Sildenafil, the active ingredient in that little blue pill, that helps guys with ED. I'm really super excited to tell you I've moved into a generic pill that you can get at forhims.com. Gosh, guys, everybody wants to perform their best, but not everyone could afford me. I mean, in that little blue pill. But now I can be yours at forhims.com. Hims connects you with licensed doctors who can prescribe me online, and then I get delivered right to your door. So easy. And get this, your first month is just $5 when you go to forhims.com/guys. $5 for a whole month of me? That should make every guy stand up and cheer. To get your first order for just $5, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/guys. That's forhims.com/guys. Get started today for just $5 at forhims.com/guys.
See website for full details. Not all services through the HIMS platform are
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. A new business opened its doors at the Crossroads Mall in Fort Dodge today. The Fish Room has moved into the mall after spending the last 2 years at 1232 Central Avenue. The Fish Room specializes in tropical fish, but owner Tom Bethke says that the business is expanding its product lines.
So we'll have dog food, cat food, stuff for the hamsters, the gerbils, the birds, all that stuff. That will probably take us 2 to maybe 3 weeks before all the lines of the various products will be in. So we're able to expand. We're able to do more stuff with our fish in our new location because of the warehouse space.
Crossroads Mall General Manager Melissa Verscher says the fish room is an excellent addition to the mall.
We're very excited to have added the fish room to our line, and we look forward to working with them, and we hope everybody comes out to see them.
Beth Key says that a grand opening is planned for sometime in February. The Fort Dodge City Council unanimously approved the removal of the Little Dam, the Hydro Dam at Monday's City Council meeting. Both measures passed with 6-0 votes. Rachel Contracting was awarded a contract worth $274,784 for the removal of the Little Dam and a contract worth $1,186,302.86 for the removal of the Hydro Dam. City engineer Tony Trotter says the removal of the dams will improve water quality.
The whole premise behind this project is to improve the water quality in the river. Right now, they're both the Little Dam and the Hydro Dam. We've got impoundments that are behind the dam. Prohibits aquatic life to flourish.
Nicole Church of Snyder and Associates also told City Council that removing the dams will improve safety.
As you are all aware, we've had recent fatalities, and dams are known as drowning machines. And the DNR Rivers section has been interested in removing many of the dams in Iowa that are no longer serving their original purpose, such as hydroelectricity and water storage.
Church also said that dams prohibit fish passage and said that the removal of the dams will allow fish to swim upstream. Council member Dean Hill expressed his concerns with fishing in the Little Dam, and Church addressed the concerns.
My bigger concern in the Little Dam is we have a lot of people to fish that, and I would like to see a high priority set on doing some jetties and some structures for the fishermen.
And this is a high priority for us in the city as well. We are currently in design of those structures.
In local sports, St. Edmund basketball hosts Newell Fonda, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on Sunny 99.7. Fort Dodge basketball hosts Des Moines Roosevelt, starting with the girls' game at 6:15 and the boys following at 7:45 with radio coverage on 92.1 The Eagle. South Central Calhoun hosts Humboldt, starting at 6 p.m. with radio coverage on 105.9 The Beach. This has been Alex Benzagal with the KVFD Afternoon News. Have a great day.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Dave Ramsey Show. Where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is your show. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Andy starts off this hour in St. Paul. If I can hit the right button. Where'd you go, Andy? There you are. Hey, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, Andy. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Ramsey. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm very excited to ask, how are you today?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
Awesome. Well, hey, I am taking Financial Peace University here in a couple weeks, and I cannot be more excited. I actually got a little bit of a head start. I haven't used my credit card in 2 to 3 weeks. Which is kind of weird to say, but I guess that's the point. And today's my day off, so I decided to take advantage. I am leaving Wells Fargo and jumping over to a credit union, Wings Financial. And so when I went in to sign up, I had mentioned I have a student loan. I have a couple of federal loans, but then one private through Wells that I was looking to get refinanced. And they mentioned they have a credit card that you can put that debt on, and it'd be a 0% APR for the next year or so. Now, I told them I've been working with your stuff and all that, so I was a little turned off by that. But they said, oh, no, they would totally support that. It's a 0% interest, blah, blah, blah. Why not? So I figured I'd give a call to Uncle Dave and see what he says.
Gotcha. What's the balance on the private student loan?
It's about $13,800.
And what is your income? What's your income?
You're going to love this. I'm a car salesman, so I'm salaried, though. I make about $36,500 before taxes, and then there's some